Chapter 177. After making an agreement with these children, they really didn't go back and tell their families. With a few more children, the number of bullfrogs sent to Sun Zhangtian's family every day also increased. Zhao Yun also knew that it was not a long-term solution to catch bullfrogs in the village. Not to mention that this matter would definitely be known by the villagers in the future. Even if they didn't know, the number of bullfrogs would decrease after a long period of catching them, and it would also affect the ecosystem. It was best to go to the nearby villages to catch them. She could adopt the method of acquisition and let others help catch and sell them to her. She would weigh them and give them a unified price. Then she would resell them to Sun Zhangquan and earn the difference. Zhao Yun carried the wooden basin and went to the river. There were not many people by the river, only some women washing vegetables and preparing to cook. It was not very late at this time. Some people in the countryside ate late at night, especially those who did not have many hands at home. In addition to men working in the field, women also had to work in the field. When Zhao Yun went over, she began to wash the clothes. At night, the wind started to blow by the river. It was chilly. The cold water that was used to wash the clothes made their hands feel cold. She washed well by herself. She vaguely heard the discussion of a few women behind her, but she didn't pay attention to it. However, she slowly found that something was wrong. She seemed to have heard her name. Were they discussing her? Why were they discussing her? She stayed at home well. She didn't go out and cause any trouble these days. Why were they talking about her? Zhao Yun was about to finish washing. When she was about to get up, a big stone was suddenly thrown from behind. Suddenly, a lot of water splashed and the water splashed on Zhao Yun's face. Zhao Yun's face darkened. She was not a fool. Naturally, she knew that it was deliberately thrown. Throwing the clothes in her hand into the wooden basin, Zhao Yun stood up and looked coldly at the women behind her. Who is it? Zhao Yun asked coldly. However, Zhao Yun was aggressive, but none of the women paid attention to Zhao Yun. Instead, they laughed even louder. He was very happy to see Zhao Yun suffer. Zhao Yun's eyes suddenly turned cold. You don't want to talk? Very well. That meant they were in cahoots with each other to bully her. Zhao Yun picked up a stone on the ground and threw it into the water in front of the women. The water splashed and wet the women's clothes. The situation was more serious than Zhao Yun. At first, she didn't know who threw it, so it might be unfair to those who didn't throw it. However, it was obvious that some people didn't throw it, but they did participate in it, so there was no need for her to be merciful. If a real tiger did not show its might, she would be treated as a sick cat. Originally, Zhao Yun did not want to cause trouble, so she did not care about small matters. When she was a police officer, she was used to mediating. She would not pursue things that were not too excessive. He thought that after forgiving them once, these people would realize that they wouldn't do it again. In the end, Zhao Yun underestimated the quality of these country people. They were like dog shit that could not be shaken off. They could bully you once, but the next time they would be even more excessive. Damn it, she couldn't bear it anymore. In this world, there were really people who bullied the weak and feared the strong. Only when one was strong would no one dare to bully them. Chapter 178. You bitch. Why did you hit us? You got wet all over. If we catch a cold, we'll ask you to pay for our medical expenses. How dare you throw stones at us? You're quite bold. Have we been too nice to you? You're getting more and more arrogant. Our clothes are wet. Take them off and throw them to her to wash later. These people's aggressive attitudes didn't scare Zhao Yun at all. They were just tigers made of paper. They pretended to be fierce, but they didn't have much ability. Zhao Yun stared at these women coldly. These people's ability to turn black into white was really good. They were the ones who hit her first. Why didn't they say that she was wet too? What? You threw me but I can't throw you? Zhao Yun asked in a cold voice. After glancing at these people, she picked up the wooden basin on the ground and was ready to leave. Zhao Yun felt disgusted looking at their faces. But these women wouldn't allow Zhao Yun to leave. They didn't give her an explanation and she wanted to run away. How could there be such a good thing? Stop, Zhao Yun. Make it clear. What do you mean we threw you? Which eye of yours saw us throw you away? Are you hungry? Exactly, I didn't throw you away. Why did you get us wet? The corner of Zhao Yun's mouth hooked up into a cold arc. These people seemed to refuse to admit it even if they were beaten to death. It was a little interesting. Not you. Did that stone fly down from the sky? Zhao Yun said with a trace of sarcasm. Who knows if it flew down from the sky? Maybe it is. You should ask the heavens. Why are you asking us? Zhao Yun had seen a lot of strange people in the 21st century, But the strange people in this era were definitely far more strange than the 21st century. The overall quality of people in the 21st century was still better than people in ancient times. Of course, this was related to the education level in ancient times and the ignorance of the rural people in ancient times, which made these women become like this. If you say so, I naturally have nothing to say. However, the stone that I threw out was not originally meant for you. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but the stone made a curve in the air and fell in front of you. Maybe it was to punish the wicked? You can't blame me for this. You should blame the heavens. Zhao Yun'er's eyes flashed with craftiness. Since these people refused to admit it, she would give them a taste of their own medicine. Since he was shameless, he might as well be shameless to the end. You. These women were obviously annoyed by Zhao Yun'er. Shameless B****, who are you calling a bad person? Bitch, why are we still talking to her? This kind of person doesn't know the immensity of heaven and earth if we don't teach her a lesson. Hit her. A few women rushed to Zhao Yun'er's side. Zhao Yun'er put down the wooden basin in her hand and loosened her shin. Fortunately, her leg was almost recovered. Even if she fought, it would be fine. She was also very calm when 4 or 5 women rushed over. Chapter 179. Of course, because of her reputation of fighting, no man dared to date her in her previous life. Since they came here to die, they couldn't blame her. Zhao Yun'er didn't do anything. She just stood by the river and dodged them easily. Then the women fell into the river one by one. Help! Help! The women who were struggling in the river began to shout. Zhao Yun'er frowned. She knew that these women couldn't swim, but they fell into the river bank. It was very shallow, so they wouldn't drown. At this time, a few men walked past the bank in 2s and 3s. They were the men who had finished their work in the fields and came back. After hearing the screams here, they ran over to save the women. Although these women had been rescued, they had also suffered a lot. They choked on a lot of water and were coughing violently at this moment. I'm going to die. I'm going to die. This little bitch, how dare she push people into the water? I'm going to argue with Li Zheng later. Is there any justice in this matter? Is it in line with the rules of our village? Cough, cough, cough. These women were coughing water while scolding Zhao Yun'er. Originally they wanted to let Zhao Yun'er suffer, but now they were the ones who suffered. How could they be willing to accept it? Hearing these women's words, the men who came to save the women thought that Zhao Yun'er pushed them into the water. When Zhao Yun'er was about to leave, they didn't let Zhao Yun'er leave. Yun'er, we've already called Li Zheng over. You pushed people into the water. Such a big thing. You should give us an explanation. A middle-aged man said to Zhao Yun'er. His tone wasn't very rude. Zhao Yun'er didn't want to waste her time, so she was naturally unhappy. Pushed people into the water? Uncle, what you said is wrong. They were the ones who threw themselves at me. I just moved aside and fell into the river by myself. How can you blame me for that? After Zhao Yun'er finished speaking, the middle-aged man seemed a little embarrassed. He looked at the women who were all wet. However, he only glanced at them. These women were drenched in water, and the curves of their bodies were drawn out. The men felt a little embarrassed when they looked at them, and their bodies unconsciously reacted. Little girl Yun'er, you're not lying like that. You didn't do anything, how could they fall into the river? Not to mention you, even I can't do that, let alone you. The middle-aged man obviously didn't believe Zhao Yun'er's words, so he didn't let Zhao Yun'er leave. In addition, those women did not intend to let Zhao Yun'er go. They insisted that Zhao Yun'er pushed them. Zhao Yun'er's pair of cold eyes swept over the several women and sneered, You said that I pushed you. Don't you know whether I touched you or not? Hearing Zhao Yun'er's words, some women felt guilty, but they still insisted that it was Zhao Yun'er. You pushed them. Well, since you said that I pushed you, how about this? Then do you dare to swear that if I didn't push you, you will be struck by lightning and die a horrible death? The women looked at each other. They really didn't dare to swear an oath. Chapter 180. Zhao Yun'er continued to sneer. What? Do you feel guilty and don't dare to swear? Those women weren't easy to fool. Anyway, they were thick-skinned enough to defend themselves. What's there to be guilty about? We didn't do it. Why should we swear according to what you said? We're all here. We can all prove that you pushed them. That's right. Can you prove that you didn't push us? Zhao Yun'er finally saw what it was like to bite back. These women were exactly like that. Hearing that, the middle-aged man couldn't help but say, Yun'er, you pushed them. It's okay to admit it. When Li Zheng comes later, you can make it clear, deal with it, and give us a fair explanation. Isn't that enough? Zhao Yun'er wasn't stupid. She wouldn't allow others to frame her like that. Ah, it's too much. Let's not talk about whether I pushed them or not. Even if I pushed them, so what? Look, this little bitch admitted it. She admitted that she pushed us. Her heart is really black and ruthless. Bitch, we'll teach her a lesson when Li Jing comes. Zhao Yuner slapped the two women who had called her a bitch each. A red handprint appeared on their faces all of a sudden, and then they felt a burning pain. It seemed that some people didn't know how to talk nicely. They kept calling her a bitch. The woman who had been slapped screamed. Seeing Zhao Yuner's aggressive behavior, the middle-aged man couldn't stand it anymore. Yuner, it's wrong of you to hit them. Zhao Yuner curled her lips and asked him back sarcastically, what's wrong? They scolded me so I shouldn't hit them. What's the reason? Not only this time but the next time I hear it I'll hit them again. Well, the middle-aged man thought that Zhao Yuner was right. But even if Zhao Yuner was in the right at the beginning, she shouldn't hit her like this. While they were arguing with these people, Li Jing Lu Fugue also came over. It was Zhao Yuner's first time seeing Lu Fugue in this village. He was in his 50s and wore a silver-gray robe. He looked very energetic. Lu Fugue's sword-like eyebrows made him look even more dignified. What the hell is going on? Lu Fugue walked over and asked with a frown. The women all looked like drowned rats. Their clothes stuck to their bodies. It was a bit indecent and unbearable to look at. Li Jing, you have to help us. Li Jing, wasn't it Zhao Yuner who pushed us into the water? You must be the judge today. How should we deal with this matter? That's right. We were bullied to this extent and almost lost our lives. No matter what, they have to give us an explanation. Lu Fugue was almost confused by the women's incessant chatter. In the end he finally figured out what was going on. Lu Fugue turned around and said to Zhao Yuner seriously, Yuner, you have to apologize to these aunties for what happened today. Apologize? She didn't do anything wrong. Of course she wouldn't apologize. Chapter 181. That's right, Li Jing. You're deliberately biased. We're like drowned rats. When we go back we'll definitely get sick. You have to compensate us for the medical expenses and the money to nourish our bodies, right? In the end, these women were unwilling to let go of Zhao Yuner so easily. At the same time they also wanted to get some benefits from Zhao Yuner. Lu Fugue looked at Zhao Yuner and said to the women, Yuner just needs to apologize. You can forget about asking her to compensate. It's not that I'm biased towards her, but she can't live alone with a child. It's not easy. Where would she get the money to compensate you? Zhao Yuner was from a poor family in the village and all the neighbors knew that. For so many years she almost couldn't survive with a child. Zhao Yuner looked at Lu Fugue. Putting aside the fact that Lu Fugue didn't know the truth of the matter before asking her to apologize, he was really biased towards her. From the way Lu Fugue looked at her, Zhao Yuner caught Lu Fugue's guilt. Yes, guilt. The way Lu Fugue looked at her was similar to the way Zhao Baoshan looked at her. It was obvious that he had done something wrong and felt sorry for her. Zhao Yuner remembered what Zhao Tianan said that day. Now it seemed that it was true. Lu Fugue was also involved in her pregnancy before marriage. It doesn't matter if she doesn't have money. Doesn't old Zhao's family still have money? Let's go back and ask old Zhao's family for it. Anyway, she's old Zhao's granddaughter. We haven't separated from the family yet, so we have to be responsible. Yes. Ask old Zhao's family for it. Old Zhao's family is rich. Lu Fugue's head hurt even more. He was most afraid of dealing with trivial matters in the village. Often, the villagers would look for him when they quarreled. When he was dealing with it, the two sides would start arguing. It was fine if it happened once or twice, but it gave him a headache when he often heard these people arguing in his ear. Lu Fugue rubbed his forehead and said a few words to the women. All right, stop arguing. What are you talking about? Do you think old Zhao's family will compensate you if you go? Yuner's family doesn't care about her anymore. Li Jing, do you mean we should just let it go? We're all from the same village. Let's turn big problems into small ones and small ones into nothing. Lu Fugue said with a sigh. That won't do. Li Jing, you are too unfair. When Zhao Yuner got pregnant before marriage, you didn't chase her out of the village, nor did you drown her in a pig cage. You spoke up for her in everything. It was your attitude that made her feel that it was nothing. She dared to bully others. If you still want to defend her today, just wait and see. Who knows what else you can do in the future. Lu Fugue didn't know how to defend himself. His way of doing things really made the villagers dissatisfied. They were village chiefs, so they were under a lot of pressure. They paid attention to fairness and impartiality when dealing with things. Otherwise, if they didn't deal with things well, it would only make the villagers resentful and dissatisfied. It wouldn't be good for the village. Lu Fugui's gaze fell on Zhao Yun again. It seemed that he could only say something soft to Zhao Yun so that these women wouldn't keep harping on this matter. Chapter 182. Explanation? Zhao Yun put her hands on her waist, and her attitude was very arrogant. She just wants to extort money. Oh. Zhao Yun. If they hadn't seen Zhao Yun's fighting skills, these women would have beaten Zhao Yun up. Looking at Zhao Yun's attitude, it was fine if they couldn't punish her, but they couldn't take advantage of her at all. Li Zheng, look, this is her attitude. Why should such a person stay in the village? If she doesn't give us an explanation, I hope you can kick her out and never let her stay in our village in the future. Zhao Yun sneered. Are you done talking? Back and forth with the same few sentences. It's annoying or not. Don't look for Li Zheng to argue with me. He won't chase me away. You know what happened today. If you have the ability, you can argue with me. I'm not afraid of you. After saying this, Zhao Yun took the wooden basin and left. That nagging was really annoying. Before she left, the middle-aged man reached out to stop her, but Zhao Yun dodged him. After seeing Zhao Yun's fighting skills, the middle-aged man began to believe Zhao Yun's words. She didn't need to use her hands to push people into the water. Who is she? Li Zheng. These women still wanted to say something, but the middle-aged man next to them said, Sisters, what happened today is just your side of the story. You can't provide any evidence. After all, no one saw it and Li Zheng can't judge. If you feel uncomfortable, you'd better find Zhao Yun to settle the score. Don't make things difficult for Li Zheng. The middle-aged man's words were pertinent, and the women also felt guilty. It was true that they threw the stone first. Before they fell into the water, Zhao Yun didn't push them and they fell into the water. What bad luck. Forget it. We'll settle the score with her later. We don't need to trouble Li Zheng with this matter. Let's go back. Otherwise it's not good to catch a cold. It's so cold now. Tisk, if you didn't mention it, I wouldn't have felt it. Now that you mention it, I do feel a little cold. Hurry up and go back. The women left in twos and threes. Because of what the middle-aged man said, they felt that if they continued, they would definitely tell Lu Fugui what they saw and Zhao Yun's original explanation. In the end, she was still afraid that if this matter was really investigated and Li Zheng found out the truth, not only would he not pursue Zhao Yun, but he would also reprimand them. After the women left, Lu Fugui finally let out a sigh of relief. The look that Zhao Yun gave him before she left made Lu Fugui feel that there was a deep meaning behind it, as if she was warning him. Lu Fugui's heart trembled at the thought of what happened 3 years ago. Zhao Yun wouldn't tell anyone about this, right? If word got out, he wouldn't be able to stay as Li Zheng for long. After doing such a thing, how could he expect the people in the village to trust him in the future? Of course, he had always felt that he had let Zhao Yun down in this matter. With a sigh, Lu Fugui walked in the direction of his home. His slender figure seemed a little helpless. When Zhao Yun returned home, the sky was almost dark. When Daodu saw that Zhao Yun had returned, he looked up at Zhao Yun and said, Mother, why are you so late? Grandmother called little uncle back. Only Daodu is here. Chapter 183. Daodu shakes his head. Mother, don't be afraid, Daodu has Little Black to accompany Daodu. Zhao Yun looks down at Little Black, who is licking Daodu's hand. Little Black's appearance is extremely cute. After being raised in Zhao Yun's house for a few days, Little Black is not as thin as before, and has gained a little weight. Basically, if there was anything delicious, Zhao Yun and Daodu would not be reluctant to give it to Xiaohei. These days they often buy some meat back and Zhao Yun makes red braised pork. The meat soup is accompanied by rice and the taste is very good. Although Little Black's body is a little small, his appetite is not small. Basically, he can eat a bowl of rice every meal. Now that he has grown into a furry little thing, after spending so much time with Zhao Yun and Daodu, Little Black is even more attached to Daodu and Zhao Yun. Naturally, Daodu is also very fond of Little Black. Whenever he is free, Daodu likes to hug Little Black. If Zhao Yun didn't allow it, Daodu would probably take Little Black to sleep with him. Zhao Yun now hopes that Little Black can grow up faster. In the future, not only can he guard the door, he can also follow Daodu behind and he can also protect Daodu. It's not too dangerous and with a big dog protecting him, he should be fine. That Daodu is awesome. Zhao Yun smiles and kisses Daodu's forehead. Daodu smiles shyly. Mother, why are you wet? Daodu touches Zhao Yun's body and finds that it is wet. Zhao Yun didn't say what happened by the river, and even if she did, Daodu wouldn't understand. Even if he understood, Zhao Yun doesn't want Dowdu to worry about her. Zhao Yun only wants this little milk bun to grow up happily under her wings. Mother went to the river to wash clothes and accidentally got water on me. Oh, then mother, let's go make a fire and dry your clothes, otherwise mother will catch a cold. Dowdu pulls Zhao Yun's hand and starts to drag her into the kitchen. He is so tender at such a young age, but he knows how to care for others. Zhao Yun's lips can't help but curve into a gentle smile. This kind of simple life is really good. If she knew how cute this little bun was, this in her previous life would have given birth. Zhao Yun follows Dowdu's instructions and makes a fire in the kitchen, then dries her clothes. At night she and Dowdu go to bed early together. Early the next morning, Hua Chunhua comes to the door and makes a fuss about the separation of accounts, completely separating Zhao Yun from old Zhao family's account. The reason why Hua Chunhua was so anxious was because she heard what happened yesterday. Zhao Yun is causing trouble, and she is afraid that other people will come looking for trouble because Zhao Yun is still in the old Zhao family's account. She doesn't want to be the scapegoat for what Zhao Yun did. In addition, if Zhao Yun continues to cause trouble like this, her reputation will be even worse, and it will affect the other girls in old Zhao family. She hopes that Zhao Xinhui can marry into a good family, so she can't ruin the future of the other girls in old Zhao family because of Zhao Yun's behavior. It seems that only by kicking Zhao Yun out of the old Zhao family's account can Zhao Yun be considered as not a member of old Zhao family. Chapter 184. Without hesitation, Zhao Yun agreed to go to Li Zheng's place with Hua Chunhua and Zhao Baoshan to go through the separation procedures. After the separation, old Zhao's family wouldn't have to worry about the money she earned in the future. After she saved enough money, she could buy land and build a house. These things wouldn't have to go through old Zhao's family. Seeing that Zhao Yun agreed, Hua Chunhua didn't continue to make a fuss. She felt that Zhao Yun was an eyesore. Hua Chunhua as a woman couldn't get involved in the separation procedures at Li Zheng's place, so she handed it over to Zhao Baoshan. On the way, Zhao Baoshan said to Zhao Yun, are you really planning to separate? Zhao Yun saw the guilt in Zhao Baoshan's eyes. The corners of her mouth curled up as she said, Grandpa, is it okay if I don't separate? Zhao Baoshan sighed. Yun, if you don't want to separate, I'll talk to your grandma later and persuade her again. It should be okay. Zhao Yun looked at Zhao Baoshan deeply. Of course, she wouldn't let Zhao Baoshan persuade Hua Chunhua. It wasn't easy for her to have the opportunity to separate. If she let Zhao Baoshan persuade her again, wouldn't she be smashing her own feet? However, Zhao Yun still wanted to keep Zhao Baoshan in suspense to see if she could dig out the past. Grandpa, what good will it do me if I don't separate? Has old Zhao's family ever given me anything over the years? When I was bullied, did they come out to help me? Zhao Yun asked in a sarcastic tone. Zhao Baoshan seemed to be unusually embarrassed. He looked at Zhao Yun apologetically and said, Yun, I know we've wronged you all these years. Alright Grandpa, you don't need to say any more. It won't do me any good if we don't separate. After the separation, I'll be more comfortable alone, so Grandma won't keep nagging me. Zhao Baoshan heaved a deep sigh. He had wronged this girl all these years. He indeed didn't do a good job. When something happened, he could only escape. Zhao Yun was disappointed in old Zhao's family, so it was normal that she wanted to separate. Zhao Baoshan walked in front of Zhao Yun, looking helpless and lonely. Zhao Yun said softly behind Zhao Baoshan, Grandpa, you're acting like this because you feel guilty in your heart. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be like this today. Zhao Baoshan was struck dumb for a second. He stopped and looked back at Zhao Yun. Yun, I know I'm sorry for what I've done to you. But there's nothing I can do about it. Zhao Baoshan's face was full of helplessness. He didn't know how to justify his previous actions. However, it seemed that no matter how he explained, it was useless because Zhao Yun shouldn't have been sacrificed in this matter. Zhao Yun stared coldly at Zhao Baoshan. She wasn't a kind-hearted person. She would forgive others if they pretended to be helpless and apologetic. Old Zhao's family made the original host pregnant before marriage. The suffering she had suffered in the past few years wasn't something that could be forgiven by a simple sentence of forgiveness. There's nothing you can do about it? You have to sacrifice my life just because there's nothing you can do about it? Zhao Yun questioned. This question was asked on behalf of the original host, and she wanted to continue to fish for information from Zhao Baoshan. Chapter 185. When Zhao Baoshan said this, he frowned. He must have been very worried about what had happened that year. After a pause, he continued, At that time, Li Zheng came to find us. He said that he needed an innocent girl for a night. He was in a hurry. He gave 100 taels of silver for a night. Grandpa, your father and your uncle discussed and sent you there. After listening to Zhao Baoshan, Zhao Yun roughly knew what had happened. In other words, someone had spent 100 taels of silver to buy an innocent girl for a night. Then old Zhao's family happened to be short of money, so they sold the original Zhao Yun's body. Unexpectedly, the original Zhao Yun became pregnant after only one night. Damn, it was so ridiculous. How could such a thing happen in this era? Were these people's consciences eaten by dogs back then? Couldn't they sell their family's land if they didn't have money? Would it even reach the point of selling an innocent girl? What, there's no way? That was all nonsense. Damn it, she was so angry. The original Zhao Yun was so pitiful. She was sold by her family for 100 taels of silver. In modern times, 100 taels of silver was equivalent to 100,000 yuan. How could a woman's life not be worth 100,000 yuan? This was a feudal society, not the 21st century. In the 21st century, even if a woman had slept with another man before, she could still get married. However, women in ancient times were different. It was impossible for her to find a good husband if she lost her chastity. Zhao Yun'er guessed that the original Zhao Yun'er was misunderstood after she became pregnant. Zhao Baoshan and the others didn't dare to say the reason because they were afraid that it would be embarrassing for them if others knew about it. They would be scolded to death for this kind of thing. For money, they really didn't care about anything else. On one hand, they were afraid of being scolded. On the other hand, they were afraid that Liang Jinxiao would make trouble for them. Zhao Yun'er believed that Liang Jinxiao would rather die than sacrifice his own daughter in exchange for money to cure his illness. The original Zhao Yun didn't tell others about it because she didn't want her mother, who she had saved with great difficulty, to have another accident. Therefore, in the end, only the original Zhao Yun was the victim. She had been wronged for so many years. The men in old Zhao's family were really heartless. After hearing Zhao Baoshan's words, Zhao Yun'er's chest heaved up and down. She really wanted to catch those men and interrogate them one by one. How could they be so heartless? And beat them up. Seeing Zhao Yun'er's face turn black, Zhao Baoshan wanted to say something. Yun? Zhao Yun'er glanced at Zhao Baoshan coldly. That's enough. Don't pretend in front of me. I won't forgive you no matter how you pretend. You'd better not do anything to offend me. Otherwise, I don't mind telling others about what happened that year and let old Zhao's family be ruined. The fierceness in Zhao Yun'er's eyes scared Zhao Baoshan. Zhao Baoshan's heart couldn't help trembling. At this moment he believed what Zhao Yun'er said. Zhao Yun'er took a few deep breaths to calm herself down. Fortunately, she wasn't the original Zhao Yun. If this kind of thing really happened to her, she would definitely take a knife to kill them. Chapter 186. Zhao Baoshan nodded at once. Sure, Yun'er, go ahead. I'll tell you everything you want to know. Who's the man who bought me? If she knew who the man who bought her was, she would know who Daodu's biological father was. Although she never planned to take Daodu to see her biological father, it was better for her to know. Perhaps she could avoid Daodu in the future once she knew who the man was. She didn't want her father to take Daodu away from her if he found out about Daodu's existence. Oh, Yun'er, Grandpa doesn't know, but what? Zhao Yun'er raised her eyebrows. However, that person's identity shouldn't be simple. Back then, at the foot of our village's mountain, a group of people came and camped there for a period of time. I heard that they were from the imperial court. No one knows what they were doing at the foot of the mountain. Back then it was Li Zheng who brought us there, Zhao Baoshan recalled as he spoke. Since they're from the government, they must be someone important. Yun'er, even if you have Daodu, don't think about it anymore. They must be someone important. It's possible that they won't accept an abandoned child. In this era, illegitimate children weren't accepted very well. That was why Zhao Baoshan said that to remind Zhao Yun'er. He thought that Zhao Yun'er wanted to bring Daodu back to her family. Zhao Yun'er glanced at Zhao Baoshan. I see. That was all Zhao Baoshan knew. Zhao Yun'er was sure that Daodu's father must be someone important, but she didn't know who he was. After walking for a few minutes, they arrived at Li Zheng's house. After explaining the purpose of their visit, Li Zheng quickly agreed. Perhaps out of guilt, Lu Fugue agreed to bring Zhao Yun'er to Yang City the next day to settle the procedures for the separation of households. Then he would create a separate female household for Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er was happy to do so. Zhao Yun'er felt that Lu Fugue's eagerness to help was justified. Since he had participated in this matter, now he had to make some compensation for his actions. After discussing with Lu Fugue, Zhao Yun'er went back. When she reached home, she saw Mulan at her door. She was holding a basket filled with vegetables. Zhao Yuner greeted Mulan with a smile. Sister-in-law Mulan, why are you here? I'm here to bring you some vegetables. The vegetables in your house haven't grown yet, so you shouldn't have any vegetables to eat now, right? Anyway, I have a lot of vegetables at home, so I brought some over, Mulan said with a smile. Looking at the vegetables in Mulan's basket, Zhao Yuner didn't refuse. These days she didn't have any vegetables to eat at home. Basically they only ate wild vegetables and meat. She wanted to eat some fresh vegetables, especially the ones that were grown in the countryside. Sister-in-law Mulan, you're too polite. Mulan smiled. It's nothing. It's just some vegetables. These things aren't worth much. Basically every family has some. Moreover, Dao often tells me what he ate at your place. You know, you're so nice. Dao to help me. It's only right that I give him some food at home. Chapter 187. Zhao Yuner was really afraid that the old lady of family Zhu would blame Mulan if she knew that Mulan had sent so many vegetables over. Mulan shook her head. It's fine. My mother agreed to let me send them over. Didn't you go to my house last time? My sister-in-law's baby is almost cured according to your method. My mother also wants to thank you. Zhao Yuner nodded. So that was the reason. Since that was the case, she felt more at ease after accepting Mulan's dishes. Thank you, sister-in-law Mulan. I'll take them. It's fine. You're welcome, Mulan said with a smile. Zhao Yuner asked Mulan to sit and rest in her house for a while, but Mulan refused. Yuner, I have to go back to work. I can't live without you. Looking at the tiredness on Mulan's face, she knew that she was overworked. Mulan took care of a lot of family Zhu's affairs by herself. It happened to be the busy season of farming, so Mulan was busy every day. Not to mention other things, nowadays men's clothes would be stained with mud. If they were dirty, they would have to wash them every day, which was also a huge project. Mulan's sister-in-law had just given birth to a baby. She was still nursing the baby, so naturally she wouldn't ask her to help with too many things. Zhao Yuner understood Mulan's difficulties, so she didn't continue to ask Mulan to stay. She said to Mulan, well, sister-in-law Mulan, take care. Okay. Before Mulan left, she looked at Zhao Yuner. She hesitated for a while and wanted to say something. What's wrong, sister-in-law Mulan? Yuner, well, what happened? Looking at Mulan's hesitant expression, Zhao Yuner was both curious and anxious. Mulan sighed. Yuner, there are some things that I have to remind you of. Otherwise no one will remind you. Zhao Yuner was even more curious. She leaned over and asked, Sister-in-law Mulan, what's going on? Yuner, if you meet Lu San in the future, stay away from him. Zhao Yuner frowned, not knowing what Mulan meant. She didn't usually have the chance to interact with Lu San. He was such a disgusting man. In fact, even without Mulan's reminder, Zhao Yuner would have stayed far away from him. However, Mulan's sudden words meant that something must have happened. Sister-in-law Mulan, tell me, did something happen? Being asked by Zhao Yuner, Mulan didn't want to tell her, but she felt that it would be better if Zhao Yuner didn't know about it. After thinking for a while, Mulan told Zhao Yuner what had happened. Yuner, there's a rumor in our village these days. What is it? It has something to do with me? Yeah. It said that you have a relationship with Lu San, and you seduced Lu San. I don't believe it, but Yuner, I don't believe it, not because other people don't believe it, but because it's the kind of rumor that can drown people. If you see Lu San in the village, you should stay away from him. Otherwise, if other people see you, they might say something bad. Hearing that, Zhao Yuner nodded. She said to Mulan with gratitude. Mulan, thank you for trusting me and reminding me. Chapter 188. Okay Mulan, I got it. By the way Mulan, do you know who spread the rumor? There was no smoke without fire. Someone must be behind this and adding fuel to the fire. If she knew who it was, she definitely wouldn't let it go easily. How dare they link her to Lu San? Mulan shook her head and said, Yuner, I don't know who spread the rumor either. I just heard them talking about it when I was washing clothes by the river. Alright then, sister-in-law Mulan. Yuner, I'm going back now. If there's anything else, let me know. Zhao Yuner nodded. After Mulan left, Zhao Yuner thought for a while. She didn't offend anyone, so why did someone frame her? She thought of a few people in her mind, but she didn't have any evidence, so she couldn't go to them. The next day, Zhao Yuner didn't ask Lu Lei to help her deliver the bullfrog. She went to deliver it herself, and also went to the government office to settle the matters of the separation of households and the establishment of female households. Early in the morning they went to Yang City in a carriage. When Zhao Baoshan and Lu Fugue were having breakfast, Zhao Yuner went to Feline restaurant. Now she just went there every day to weigh in and pay, so it only took about 10 minutes. After Zhao Yuner came back from delivering the bullfrog, Zhao Baoshan asked curiously, "Yuner, where did you go just now?" Zhao Yuner wouldn't tell Zhao Baoshan what she really did, so she replied casually, "Nothing. Lu Lei got some game and asked me to deliver it to the restaurant, so I delivered it on my way." Zhao Baoshan nodded and said, "Well Yuner, hurry up and eat. I ordered a basket of soup dumplings. They don't taste good when they're cold." Zhao Baoshan said and asked Zhao Yuner to eat. Seeing that Zhao Yuner didn't sit down, Zhao Baoshan said again, "Yuner, it's fine. Sit down and eat. Grandpa will pay for the soup dumplings. You don't need to pay." Zhao Baoshan was very attentive to Zhao Yuner because he felt guilty. Since Zhao Baoshan said so, Zhao Yuner didn't refuse Zhao Baoshan. A steamer of soup dumplings only cost 4 copper coins, which was nothing compared to the money she made from selling the soup dumplings. Even if she ate with a clear conscience. If she didn't eat in the morning, she would be hungry when she returned to the village later. Zhao Yuner finished eating all the soup dumplings. Zhao Baoshan and Lu Fugue also finished eating and waited for Zhao Yuner. After Zhao Yuner finished eating, they went to the magistrate court together. There were many people in the magistrate court and they were all queuing up. By the time Zhao Yuner finished the procedures, more than an hour had passed. After registering as a female, the magistrate court issued a thin booklet to Zhao Yuner, which was similar to a household register in the 21st century. If she lost this booklet, she could go to the magistrate court to register again. In the future, she would still need this certificate to buy and sell land. After the procedures were completed, Zhao Yuner heaved a sigh of relief. From now on, she really had nothing to do with old Zhao's family. No matter how good her life was in the future, she wouldn't care about old Zhao's family. She was also not afraid that they would take advantage of the fact that she didn't have a separate household. After leaving the magistrate court, Zhao Yuner didn't go with Zhao Baoshan and Lu Fugue. Instead, she went to the market to buy some things. Chapter 189. In the past she was poor, so she couldn't afford to buy anything for Daodu. Now that she had sold Bullfrog and earned some money, Zhao Yuner wanted to buy some good things for Daodu. Daodu's clothes were already very shabby. He had never worn new clothes in his life. Children had soft skin and tender flesh, so they always wore coarse cloth clothes. Coarse cloth clothes were very painful to wear, so they weren't very comfortable and couldn't be compared to cotton clothes. There were many shops that sold clothes and cloth in Yang City. Generally, ready-made clothes were slightly more expensive. If one bought cloth and made clothes themselves, it would be much cheaper. Zhao Yuner earned some money, but she didn't want to waste it. It was better to save as much as possible. After all, if she wanted to build a house later, it would be a bigger expense. There were more rich people living in Yang City. The shops on the streets sold better cloth or silk. Zhao Yuner found a few shops and asked about the price. It was at least a few hundred copper coins and 1 tael of silver. Of course, it was normal for some expensive silk to cost dozens of taels or hundreds of taels. In Zhao Yuner's eyes, this kind of thing was a luxury right now. She couldn't afford it for the time being. Buying cloth for Daodu to make clothes was fine as long as it was comfortable to wear. She wouldn't consider expensive clothes at the moment. Zhao Yuner found a few shops and finally found a shop in a small alley with good things and relatively low prices. However, it wasn't in the downtown area. The rent of the shop was relatively low, so the things in the shop were cheaper than other shops. Zhao Yuner went to the shop and picked some things. In the end, she chose a bolt of sapphire blue cloth and bought it. It cost 230 copper coins. She only earned 250 copper coins from Sun Zhongquan today. Today she spent all her money on cloth. After buying the cloth, Zhao Yuner put it in the basket on her back and prepared to go back. Suddenly a figure jumped out of the alley. His purple clothes were stained with blood. With the arrival of this person, the tip of Zhao Yuner's nose also smelled a bloody smell. She couldn't help but frown and step back vigilantly. What was going on? Could it be a robbery? She had encountered many such situations in the 21st century. When she fixed her eyes and saw clearly, Zhao Yuner exclaimed in her heart for a while. This person was none other than Mu Lianfeng. Who could tell her what was going on? Zhao Yuner rushed to Mu Lianfeng, helped Mu Lianfeng up from the ground and asked, "What's wrong with you? Young Master Mu, how did you suffer such serious injuries? Wasn't it the Crown Prince?" There had to be someone to protect Mu Lianfeng, but there was no one by his side. If no one had discovered such a serious injury outside, would he have died outside? When Mu Lianfeng heard Zhao Yuner's voice, He raised his head and met her eyes. When he saw Zhao Yun'er, he seemed a little surprised. "Miss Yun'er, how are you?" "No, I have to take you to the medical center first." If such a serious injury wasn't treated properly, it was easy to get into trouble. Mu Lianfeng pulled Zhao Yun'er and nodded. "No, Miss Yun'er, we can't go to the medical center now. Otherwise you will be in danger." Chapter 190. "Okay, I'll listen to you. Don't talk. Take a rest first." Zhao Yun'er was curious, but she didn't ask too much. Mu Lianfeng was in such a condition. If she said another word, she would be in more danger. Of course, Zhao Yun'er knew that Mu Lianfeng must have a reason for not letting her go to the clinic. Just like his injuries, there must be some special reason. Zhao Yun'er helped Mu Lianfeng to sit down and let Mu Lianfeng take a breath. Suddenly, another figure appeared in the alley. It was a man in black. His face was covered with a black veil. He was similar to the man Zhao Yun'er saw in the TV series before. The man in black found Mu Lianfeng and Zhao Yun'er and rushed in their direction. Was the man in black's target Mu Lianfeng? When Mu Lianfeng saw the man in black, his dark eyes suddenly became gloomy and his gaze was very vigilant. Mu Lianfeng protected Zhao Yun'er behind him and whispered in Zhao Yun'er's ear, "Be careful." Zhao Yun'er's heart also tightened. That was to say, the man in black was really dangerous. With Mu Lianfeng's injuries, how could he deal with it? Seeing the man in black rushing over, Mu Lianfeng quickly got up from the ground and confronted the man in black. But in the end he was seriously injured. He couldn't fight back at all. Soon he was at a disadvantage. The air was filled with an even stronger smell of blood. Zhao Yun'er saw that Mu Lianfeng was at a disadvantage and couldn't help but feel anxious. If this continued, Mu Lianfeng's injuries would be more serious. She was good at fighting, but the man in black obviously knew kung fu. Zhao Yun'er didn't have the confidence to fight back. Looking around, he found a long bamboo pole and rushed over. Regardless of whether it worked or not, he had to at least give it a try. Otherwise, Mu Lianfeng might not be able to hold on and collapse. Zhao Yun'er poked the black-clothed man with her bamboo pole. The black-clothed man paused. Apparently he was hurt by Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er's behavior should have angered the black-clothed man. The black-clothed man's attention immediately turned to Zhao Yun'er. It seemed that he wanted to deal with Zhao Yun'er first before dealing with Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Yun'er's long bamboo pole was chopped by the black man and broke into 2 pieces. Then the black-clothed man's long saber stabbed towards Zhao Yun'er. Zhao Yun'er's brows were tightly knitted together. A strong sense of danger also attacked Zhao Yun'er. Fortunately, the training in the police academy was more strict. She also practiced a good set of skills. Although the black-clothed man knew kung fu, he thought that Zhao Yun'er was just an ordinary woman. He didn't expect that Zhao Yun'er would be able to dodge his attack. The black-clothed man was obviously startled, but then he waved his saber more fiercely. He wanted to kill Zhao Yun'er with one blow. Mu Lianfeng's handsome brows were tightly knitted together. He endured the injuries on his body and rushed over, blocking in front of Zhao Yun'er. His arm was cut by a knife again. Looking at the blood that was spilling out, it was a bit too ghastly. Did this man not want to live anymore? For her, wasn't he afraid of death? Looking deeply at Mu Lianfeng, there was an indescribable feeling in her heart. Zhao Yun'er's eyes were filled with resentment at the black-clothed man. Chapter 191. Gotcha. The sound was very crisp. The man in black roared in pain, and his other hand was about to hit Zhao Yun'er. Before he could touch Zhao Yun'er's body, he was thrown over her shoulder by Zhao Yun'er and fell heavily to the ground. Zhao Yun'er immediately stepped down again and stepped on the man in black's chest. The man in black was injured by Zhao Yun'er and couldn't get up. This was not enough. Zhao Yun'er picked up a thick wooden stick on the ground and smashed it on the man in black's head. The man in black lying on the ground fainted directly. Zhao Yun'er probed the man in black's nostrils to see if he was dead or alive. If others wanted to kill her, it was their business. She didn't dare to kill. As a commoner, if he were to kill someone without any connections, he would be sentenced to death even if he were to go to the magistrate court. It was really not worth it to sacrifice her own life for someone else's life. After confirming that the man in black was not dead, Zhao Yun'er breathed a sigh of relief. Zhao Yun'er turned back and saw Mu Lianfeng leaning against the corner of the wall. A lot of cold sweat had seeped out of his forehead. His injury was so serious that it was probably very difficult for him to endure. "Are you okay? I'll take you away now." He couldn't go to the clinic, but at least he had to treat the wound. If the blood flow dried up, he probably wouldn't live for long in the future. Mu Lianfeng stared at Zhao Yun'er a few times. Seeing that nothing happened to Zhao Yun'er, his beautiful eyes began to close. Mu Lianfeng, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? Zhao Yun'er called a few times but Mu Lianfeng didn't answer. Fainted? Zhao Yun'er was a little flustered. How could she get such a big man back? Who knew how many dangers were waiting on this street? Since one black-clothed man had appeared, a second black-clothed man would definitely appear. Taking Mu Lianfeng directly to the streets would not work. She had to think of another way. She couldn't ignore Mu Lianfeng. What should she do? As Zhao Yun'er pondered, she realized that Mu Lianfeng couldn't be exposed like this. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly ran to the previous shop and bought a set of cheap coarse clothes. 80 copper coins was already the lowest price in the shop. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly put the coarse clothes on Mu Lianfeng. She rubbed some dust on the ground and smeared it on Mu Lianfeng's face, so that people couldn't see Mu Lianfeng's true appearance. It also made Mu Lianfeng's appearance more similar to that of a country bumpkin. After these modifications, Zhao Yun'er felt that it would not be easy to recognize Mu Lianfeng. If she didn't look carefully, she wouldn't be able to recognize him either. Zhao Yun'er hurriedly found an ox cart and prepared to rent it to go back to the village. Mu Lianfeng was with her, pretending to be a country bumpkin couple so that they wouldn't attract attention. She didn't want to bring Mu Lianfeng home. She didn't know the way to the Shizi's mansion. Even if she asked around, who knew if they would be stopped on the way? Zhao Yun'er wanted to wait until Mu Lianfeng woke up. The ox cart back to the village cost 30 copper coins. Zhao Yun'er didn't feel bad about the money. After all, it was impossible for her to take Mu Lianfeng to Old Man Hu's ox cart. The man driving the ox cart was a middle-aged man. Zhao Yun'er led the ox cart to an alley. Zhao Yun'er asked the man for help. The two of them carried Mu Lianfeng onto the ox cart. The middle-aged man driving the ox cart asked curiously, "Young lady, is this your husband?" Chapter 192. What's wrong with him? Zhao Yun'er sighed and squeezed out a few drops of tears. She said to the middle-aged man, "Big brother, my husband also has a hard life. The land in the village was taken over by the bullies. He wanted to come to the government office to complain, but he didn't succeed. He was beaten until he was seriously injured." Perhaps Zhao Yun'er's acting was too realistic. The middle-aged man believed Zhao Yun'er's words a little. He looked at Zhao Yun'er and Mu Lianfeng with some sympathy. People in this era didn't have an easy life. When they were bullied, there was no one to call the shots. After all, they were just ordinary people. The government office didn't have that many connections. If they met a good official, it was fine. If they met a corrupt official or a mediocre official, they couldn't expect the imperial court to uphold justice for them. They could only swallow their own sufferings. "Little sister, let's forget about this matter. Otherwise, the next time Big Brother comes, he will have to suffer. Those bullies colluded in the imperial court. When you come, they will know. It's normal to beat people." Zhao Yun'er nodded and looked at the middle-aged man gratefully. "Thank you for your reminder, Big Brother. I can only swallow my own sufferings. My husband and I won't come again. Little sister, let's not talk about it. I'll send you back quickly. This Big Brother seems to be seriously injured. There's a bloody smell on his body. The medical center in the town is too expensive. Go back to the village and find a doctor to take a look." "Okay, thank you, Big Brother." The ox cart returned to the village before Old Father Hu's carriage. Although the middle-aged man drove the ox cart faster than Old Father Hu's, it still took more than half an hour to reach the village. Zhao Yun'er was a little worried that they would meet someone on the road. When they saw the man beside her, they would come forward and ask. Fortunately, at this time, they were basically helping out in the fields and hadn't returned from the fields. Although they met a few people, they just looked at Zhao Yun'er curiously and didn't ask too much. When they reached the door, Zhao Yun'er heaved a sigh of relief. The middle-aged man helped Zhao Yun'er send Mu Lianfeng into the house before leaving. Perhaps it was because he pitied Zhao Yun'er, and Zhao Yun'er's house was so shabby that he felt that Zhao Yun'er's life was very difficult, so he only charged Zhao Yun'er 20 copper coins. When Mu Lianfeng was brought over, Daodu hurried forward and asked Zhao Yun'er, "Mother, who is this?" Zhao Yun'er touched Daodu's face and said, "This is your Uncle Feng." After Daodu heard this, she was a little surprised. Her beautiful eyes stared at Mu Lianfeng carefully. Finally, she confirmed that the person lying on the bed was indeed Mu Lianfeng. "Mother, it's really Uncle Feng. What happened to Uncle Feng?" "Uncle Feng is injured. He has to recuperate in our house these few days." Daodu nodded as if he understood. "Mother, is Uncle Feng all right? Is his injury serious?" "Daodu and Mother can take care of Uncle Feng together." Zhao Yun'er glanced at Mu Lianfeng who was lying on the bed. His lips were pale, and it was obvious that it was caused by excessive blood loss. If this wasn't handled properly, he might even lose his life. Zhao Yun'er brought Mu Lianfeng back, but she didn't dare to find a doctor. If she did, the doctor would definitely know that Mu Lianfeng was in her house. There was a man in her house, and she didn't know how the rumors in the village would spread. Chapter 193. Zhao Yun'er recalled that if she did not call for a doctor, she would have to treat Mu Lianfeng's wound herself. She had previously trained herself in wilderness survival skills, which included how to use the herbs in the mountains to treat herself after she was injured. There were many herbs that could stop bleeding. Zhao Yun'er remembered seeing thistles in the mountains before. She could just grind it and apply it to the wound. Daodu, help Mother look after Uncle Feng at home. Mother will go to the mountains to get some herbs to stop your Uncle Feng's bleeding. Daodu nodded sensibly. Mother, go ahead. With Daodu here, he will take good care of Uncle Feng. Zhao Yun'er patted Daodu's head and praised, Daodu is a man now. That's amazing. Before leaving the house, Zhao Yun'er closed the door. She was afraid that someone would come in and find Murong Qing when she was not at home. Carrying the basket on her back, Zhao Yun'er rushed up the mountain. Apart from the herbs to stop bleeding, she also had to pick some herbs to clear up the blood stasis. Fortunately, there were all these herbs on the mountain. Otherwise, she would have to go to the doctors to buy them. If she bought them back, she would definitely expose some things. After Zhao Yun'er went up the mountain and got the herbs, she rushed back home without stopping. She did not dare to waste any time. The longer she delayed, the more serious Mu Lianfeng's injury would be. A round trip to the mountains took 1 to 2 hours. In the blink of an eye, it was time for lunch. Zhao Yun'er knew that Daodu was hungry. She comforted Daodu, Daodu, Mother will treat your Uncle Feng's wound first. I will cook for you later, okay? Daodu, are you hungry now? Mother, Daodu isn't hungry. Why don't you treat Uncle Feng's wound first? Uncle Feng should be in a lot of pain right now. Daodu frowned worriedly when he mentioned Mu Lianfeng. Alright, then Mother will treat your Uncle Feng's wound now. Zhao Yun'er said. When she went to wash the herbs and boil the water, Daodu also followed her. Looking at Daodu's expression, he seemed to be very concerned about Mu Lianfeng's situation. Daodu, when Mother left just now, no one came over, right? Great-grandfather shouted from outside, but Daodu didn't answer. Otherwise, Grandpa would definitely come in. It seemed that Daodu was quite smart. He was only 3 years old, but he already knew how to judge things. Zhao Yun'er couldn't help but praise Daodu again. Zhao Yun'er guessed that she didn't go back with old man whose ox cart. Zhao Baoshan thought that something had happened to her, so he came to her house to ask if she had returned. After boiling the water and chopping the herbs, Zhao Yun'er squatted over with a wooden basin and began to help Mu Lianfeng clean and bandage his wound. Mu Lianfeng's clothes were covered with too much blood and could no longer be worn. Zhao Yun'er took off all his clothes. The wound had been there for too long. Some of the wounds and clothes were stuck together. Zhao Yun'er was a little shocked when she saw it. Fortunately, she had been a police officer for so many years. She often saw such scenes and was already used to it. Otherwise, she really couldn't bear it. Facing the stuck flesh, Zhao Yun'er took out a pair of scissors and could only cut it open. Otherwise, the herbs couldn't be applied to the wound. Chapter 194. It was not because of the wounds on Mu Lianfeng's body, but because she had to take off all of Mu Lianfeng's clothes when she was treating his wounds. Mu Lianfeng's underwear was not taken off. Zhao Yun'er was afraid that she would see something she should not see. Mu Lianfeng's wounds were all on his upper body, and the underwear he was wearing was not stained. After taking off Mu Lianfeng's shirt, Mu Lianfeng's naked body was presented in front of Zhao Yun'er. She had to admit that Mu Lianfeng's figure was really good. He had a sense of déjà vu like a modern fitness expert with majestic muscles on his body. Even the male comrades in the Public Security Bureau did not necessarily have such a good figure as Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Yun'er was a woman, a normal woman. Facing such a good-looking man with such a good figure like Mu Lianfeng, her heart could not help but beat faster and she was a little excited. At this moment, her heart was very complicated. On one hand, she wanted to take a few more glances at Mu Lianfeng's good figure, and on the other hand, she thought that she should not be such a love-struck woman's behavior. Putting aside the fact that she was treating Mu Lianfeng's wounds, she really should not have taken advantage of him by looking at his body while he was asleep. Fortunately, Mu Lianfeng had fainted at this time. Otherwise, she was afraid that she would be even more embarrassed and at a loss. Zhao Yun'er bandaged Mu Lianfeng's wounds with a red face. In her nervousness, she could not help but pull Mu Lianfeng's wounds a few times. Mu Lianfeng frowned in pain. Zhao Yun'er was even more shocked. She thought that Mu Lianfeng would wake up from the pain. If he woke up and saw the scene of her undressing him, she did not know what he would think. After applying the herbal medicine, the bleeding wound stopped. Zhao Yun'er pulled a white cloth and bandaged it twice. Then she helped Mu Lianfeng put on the clothes she bought today. As for Mu Lianfeng's clothes, Zhao Yun'er put them into the basin and soaked them. Later he would wash the clothes and mend the torn areas. It should be able to be worn again. In the end, Mu Lianfeng still needed a change of clothes, and she didn't know how long Mu Lianfeng would stay in her house. After everything was done, Zhao Yun'er's forehead was covered with a layer of sweat. His stomach started to growl. He was so hungry that he felt a little dizzy. He had been too focused just now and had used up a lot of energy. Zhao Yun'er knew that Daodu was probably very hungry right now, so she quickly went to the kitchen to make lunch. Lunch was very simple. There were scrambled eggs with chives, cabbage, and egg soup. There was no meat, but for Daodu, who had been hungry for a long time, it was very sweet. Mu Lianfeng was lying on Zhao Yun'er's bed. No one knew when he would wake up. Zhao Yun'er would go to check on Mu Lianfeng soon. She hoped that his condition would not worsen. Mu Lianfeng's condition did not show any signs of improvement. She still had to find a doctor to treat Mu Lianfeng's wounds. "Mother, when will Uncle Feng wake up?" Daodu asked in a soft and cute voice. Zhao Yun'er shook her head. "Mother doesn't know. I hope it will be soon." "Oh, Uncle Feng must be fine. Otherwise, Daodu doesn't know when he will have a father in the future." Daodu held his little face and put his hands on the table. He looked thoughtful. Zhao Yun'er was drinking water. Because of Daodu's words, she suddenly choked. Cough, cough. Chapter 195. Zhao Yun'er waved her hand and said, "It's fine." No wonder this little boy cared so much about Mu Lianfeng. It turned out that he treated Mu Lianfeng as his own father. Zhao Yun'er didn't know what to say. "Mother, drink the water slowly," Daodu exhorted with concern, as if he was exhorting a child. Zhao Yun'er didn't know whether to laugh or cry. In the afternoon, Zhao Yun'er stayed by Mu Lianfeng's bed. When Zhao Qianfu came over, the children went to catch bullfrogs again. Although she bought the fabric to make clothes for Daodu, she hadn't made clothes herself yet. In the future, she would have to ask Aunt Lu or Liang Jinxiao for help. When it was close to evening, the two children came back from outside. Zhao Qianfu was carrying a wooden bucket in his hand. There weren't many bullfrogs in it. Looking at Daodu and Zhao Qianfu's dirty clothes, it seemed that they were stained with mud. Zhao Yun'er frowned and asked with concern, "What happened to you two? Why are you so dirty? Did you fall into a muddy pit?" The two children lowered their heads and didn't say anything when Zhao Yun'er asked, "What happened?" "Daodu, tell Nyangqin, otherwise Nyangqin will be worried." Zhao Yun'er's voice was rubbing. The two children were so dirty that they were probably afraid of being scolded by her. Generally, children in the countryside who were so dirty would be beaten when they returned home. The two children were afraid because of this. "Mother, when Uncle and I were catching bullfrogs, Daodu accidentally fell into a mud pit. We helped Daodu pull him up, so we got dirty too," Daodu whispered. As he spoke, he secretly glanced at Zhao Yun'er. "Is Daodu okay?" Daodu shook his head. "Mother, Daodu is fine. It's just that his clothes are dirtier than ours." Zhao Yun'er finally breathed a sigh of relief. As long as they were fine, it was fine. She was afraid that something had happened to the children. Daodu was Qin Hailan's youngest son, and he was usually the apple of her eye. He was also spoiled by Qin Hailan. During these days, he often followed Daodu behind and helped catch bullfrogs. His original naughty character had changed a lot. He also became polite to Zhao Yun'er. Although Zhao Yun'er and Qin Hailan were not on good terms, they would not involve the children in the grievances between adults. Daodu helped catch bullfrogs, and Zhao Yun'er gave him some candy like other children. It was good that nothing had happened to Go Dan. If something had happened to him, who knew how Qin Hailan would continue to cause trouble. However, Gooden's clothes were dirty. Zhao Yun'er was worried that the child would not be able to explain it clearly. Qin Hailan would involve Zhao Yun'er again. Zhao Yun'er patted Daodu and Zhao Qianfu's heads. "Okay, wait a moment. I'll boil some water first. Wash up and change your clothes later. We'll be ready to eat later." "Okay." The two children nodded obediently. There wasn't enough water in the hanging pot, so Zhao Yun'er had to boil another big pot. The wood fire in the countryside was very strong, so the water boiled quickly. The pot of water boiled quickly. Zhao Yun'er poured the water into the wooden basin and mixed it with cold water. After testing the temperature of the water, she let the two children sit in. "Come, I'll help you wash up," Zhao Yuner said. Chapter 196. He dilly-dallied a little before sitting in the wooden tub to take a bath. "Tianfu, what's wrong?" Zhao Yuner asked. Zhao Tianfu blushed, glanced at Zhao Yuner and whispered, "Second sister, can I bathe myself?" Zhao Yuner was stunned, and only after a while did she understand what Zhao Tianfu meant. This child was probably shy. After all, he was already 8 years old and had a certain level of awareness. If Zhao Yuner helped him bathe, she would definitely see his body. Zhao Yuner smiled, "Of course you can. Tianfu is now a man, you don't need second sister to help you bathe, right?" Zhao Tianfu nodded shyly. After Daodu heard this, he also said to Zhao Yun, "Mother, Daodu is now a man, can Daodu bathe by himself?" Zhao Yun was amused by Daodu's adorable look. He was only 3 years old and he said that he was a man. Children in the 21st century would probably follow their parents for food, right? How could they bathe by themselves? Zhao Yun couldn't help but sigh. Children in this ancient era were easy to take care of. She didn't have to wait on them like they were her ancestors. Daodu can bathe by himself today, but mother will help you bathe in the future. Daodu's expression was gloomy for a moment, but he quickly recovered. He looked up and smiled sweetly at Zhao Yun. Okay mother, Daodu will bathe by himself today and mother will help Daodu in the future. Daodu can be a man today." Zhao Yun respected the two children very much. She consciously went out of the house, closed the door, and let the two children bathe by themselves. After about 10 minutes, the two children finished bathing. After changing into a clean set of clothes, Zhao Yun prepared to bring out the dishes and prepare to eat. Just as Zhao Yun turned to enter the kitchen, a sharp curse sounded behind her. Qin Hailan came over with Gooden. Gooden's body, shoes, and trousers were full of mud, and his face and hands were dirty, like a little mud man. Zhao Yun's eyebrows twitched. This child was really too dirty. Daodu's words just now were a little understated. Qin Hailan angrily questioned Zhao Yun. "Zhao Yun, you little slut, look at what you've done to my Gooden. Today you have to give me an explanation." Originally Zhao Yun felt quite guilty when she saw Gooden like this. After all, Gooden was like this because he wanted to help her catch the bullfrog. But seeing Qin Hai's attitude, Zhao Yun felt uncomfortable. What kind of attitude was this? Couldn't a shrewish woman from the countryside speak properly? Really? What did she mean by giving her an explanation? She didn't push Gooden into the mud pit. Wasn't it normal for children to be careless? Zhao Yun's eyes showed a trace of disgust. She said to Qin Hailan unhappily, "A mad dog biting people. You'd better get out of my way. Otherwise don't blame me for being rude." Qin Hailan was also angered by Zhao Yun's arrogance. She screamed again in a sharp voice, "Zhao Yun, you bitch. You made my Gooden like this and you're still so arrogant. Can you still be reasonable?" Zhao Yun's mouth curved into a sarcastic smile. Reason is to reason with people, not with a mad dog. Chapter 197. Was she flustered and exasperated? Did she want to hit someone? Zhao Yun had never seen such an unreasonable person. Did she really think that people were easy to bully? Zhao Yun was naturally not so easy to bully. When Qin Hailan rushed in front of her, she grabbed Qin Hailan's wrist and easily subdued Qin Hailan. When Zhao Yun grabbed Qin Hailan's wrist, her strength was not light. Qin Hailan's wrist was in severe pain, and she cried out like a child. Let go of me quickly." Zhao Yun sneered and said, "Is this the attitude of someone who is asking for help? When you're asking for help, you're still calling others a tch." Zhao Yun was angry and increased the strength of her hand. Some people really needed to be taught a lesson. Qin Hailan was obviously the kind of person who forgot the pain after the scar healed. The last time she was taught a lesson here, it was not long before she came to make trouble again. But in the blink of an eye, she forgot about it. In this case, she would teach her a lesson and remind her. Let go of me quickly. If my hand is broken, you'll have to pay for my medical expenses." Qin Hailan howled. "Don't worry, your hand is a little painful, but it won't break," Zhao Yun said. After being a police officer for so many years, Zhao Yun had subdued countless people, so she was very clear about the strength of her own control. She knew what kind of situation could hurt people, and what kind of situation could make people feel pain, but not to the extent of really hurting people or leaving scars. Let go of me, tch, let go of me quickly. You tch, you keep scolding people. Letting you go would be letting you off too easily. What right do you have to hit me? Just you wait. I'll go and find Li Zheng to reason with him later. You're really funny. Why did I hit you? Don't you know in your heart why I hit you? Since you can hit me, what's wrong with me hitting you? You're really a mad dog. You're unreasonable, but you still want to reason with others. Zhao Yun sneered. Qin Hailan gritted her teeth, and beads of sweat appeared on her forehead. She resisted the severe pain and resisted. However, Zhao Yun's hands were like the claws of an octopus, firmly sticking to her body. She couldn't get rid of them. In the end, he was even more out of breath. Qin Hailan was flustered and exasperated, but there was nothing she could do. After all, her skills were not as good as Zhao Yun. Aunt Yun, I beg you to let my mother go. It's my mother's fault. I'll let my mother apologize to you. Gooden pleaded with Zhao Yun. Qin Hailan was fierce to others and was usually fierce to Gooden. However, he was her son after all. Most of the time, she treated him well and doted on him. During the period of time that Gooden and Zhao Yun were together, Zhao Yun liked to teach him when she had nothing to do. Gooden also slowly understood some principles of being a person. Compared to Qin Hailan, he was more reasonable. Looking at Gooden's pitiful eyes, Zhao Yun's heart softened. Lecturing Qin Hailan in front of Gooden was indeed not good for the child. Moreover, Qin Hailan had also suffered a lot. If she could apologize, Zhao Yun could be merciful. Zhao Yun nodded at Gooden. Gooden then said to Qin Hailan, Mother, quickly apologize to Aunt Yun. Chapter 198. Gooden felt wronged. Mom, I didn't speak for her. Qin Hailan still glared at Gooden angrily. You're helping an outsider. Why do you call that B*tch Aunt Yun? What benefits did she give you? She doted on you for nothing. Zhao Yun was even more disappointed in Qin Hailan. This woman's words hurt Gooden's feelings. Gooden was speaking for her, but she didn't appreciate it. She was such an ignorant and childish woman. Mom? Gooden lowered his head. He didn't know what to say. He looked very sad. B*tch, what did you do to Gooden? Now he's speaking for you? Qin Hailan was angry. Are you done? If you're done, get out of here. Otherwise, you don't want your hand anymore. If you don't want it, I can break it right now. Zhao Yun warned her coldly. She was afraid that if she wasted too much time, someone else would come to make trouble. She hated those who were gloating over her misfortune. Perhaps Zhao Yun's fierce eyes frightened Qin Hailan, or maybe Qin Hailan was really afraid that Zhao Yun would break her hand in anger. She didn't want to suffer like that, so she immediately shut her mouth. Zhao Yun sneered in her heart. If she didn't do it, others wouldn't be afraid. Seeing Qin Hailan behave herself, Zhao Yun shook off Qin Hailan's hand. It hurts. Qin Hailan took a deep breath in and began to rub her red wrist. Zhao Yun glanced at Qin Hailan coldly and said arrogantly, Get out. If this woman stayed one more second, she would beat her up again. Qin Hailan hurriedly pulled Gooden's hand and hurriedly left Zhao Yun's house. She scolded as she walked. You stinky boy, didn't you say that you fell into the mud pit while helping that bitch? Tell me honestly what's going on. Mom, it's nothing. I accidentally slipped. Didn't I tell you? Go back and see if I don't beat you to death. What benefits did he give you to do that for him? As Qin Hailan and Gooden walked further and further away, Zhao Yun could no longer hear what Qin Hailan and Gooden were saying. However, he did see that Qin Hailan was really too rough. She forcefully pulled the child and slapped Godan's face and head from time to time. She was venting her anger on the child. Seeing Qin Hailan like this, Zhao Yun sympathized with Gooden even more. The child was slowly learning well, but Qin Hailan's treatment was really hard on the child. Zhao Yun stood at the door and sighed. She felt a little disappointed. With Qin Hailan's fiery temper, the other children in the family must have suffered a lot. She was worried that Qin Hailan would force some information out of Gooden's mouth. Sometimes when a child was scared, he would say what he knew. It was impossible to hide it. If he said that he helped her catch bullfrog, it was hard to say what would happen. Daodu and Zhao Tianfu watched from the side. Daodu was probably frightened by Qin Hailan's fierce behavior. Daodu came back to his senses after a while. He ran to Zhao Yun and hugged Zhao Yun's thigh. Chapter 199. Daodu replied to Zhao Yun in a soft voice, Mother, Gooden Gij is so pitiful. Gooden's mother is too fierce. Zhao Yun smiled and continued to stroke Daodu's head. She replied, Yes, Gooden is a little pitiful. Daodu's little face rubbed against Zhao Yun's body and said in a soft voice, Mother, you're the best. You're very gentle with Daodu. In comparison, Zhao Yun was much better. Children also understood everything. When they saw the difference between Zhao Yun'er and Qin Hailan, they were even more grateful that they had a good mother. Zhao Yun'er's face was filled with a gentle smile. Silly child, it's natural for mother to treat you well. In this world, children are the most precious thing to mothers. Zhao Yun'er pulled Daodu's little hand and started to eat dinner. Although they were all side dishes, they were very delicious. The main reason was that Zhao Yun'er was willing to use oil when cooking, so there was plenty of oil in the dishes. It was much better than the dry dishes at old Zhao's house that didn't have a single bit of oil. After eating at Zhao Yun'er's house for a while, Zhao Tianfu slowly gained some weight. He didn't look so skinny anymore and looked a lot more normal. His face also became rosy. Zhao Yun'er earned money through her own hands and made her family's lives better. She was also very proud. After lunch, Zhao Tianfu went back to old Zhao's house. Zhao Yun'er cleaned up Bullfrog and took Daodu to bed. Before going to bed, she took a look at Mu Lianfeng to see how his injuries were. Mu Lianfeng still didn't show any signs of waking up, but his face wasn't as pale as before, so he should be fine. Tomorrow Zhao Yun'er still had to clean his wounds and change his bandages. After being tired during the day, Zhao Yun'er and Daodu quickly fell asleep at night. There was only one bed at home and Mu Lianfeng slept on it. Zhao Yun'er couldn't take Daodu to sleep on the floor. Even if they wanted to sleep on the floor, there was no blanket on the floor, so the three of them could only squeeze together. In order to prevent her and Daodu from accidentally moving Mu Lianfeng when they fell asleep at night, Zhao Yun'er hugged Daodu and slept in the corner of the bed. The big and small bodies were both very thin and weak. There was still some distance between the originally small bed. Mu Lianfeng woke up in the middle of the night. The pain in his body was still very clear. However, a man could endure a little injury. Over the years he had been injured many times. In his coma, Mu Lianfeng dreamed that Zhao Yun'er had an accident while protecting him, so when he woke up, his forehead was soaked with a layer of cold sweat. The moonlight coming in from outside the room made the room not too dark. Mu Lianfeng realized that he was lying on a bed. He looked around and knew that he was in Zhao Yun'er's house. His body moved slightly and his wounds were pulled. An even more intense pain attacked him. At this time he saw Zhao Yun'er and Daodu. Zhao Yun'er was sleeping on her side with Daodu in her arms. The mother and son were sleeping soundly. When he saw the two sleeping peacefully, Mu Lianfeng finally breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately Zhao Yun'er was fine. If something had happened to Zhao Yun'er because of him, he didn't know what to do. In his dream he dreamed that something had happened to Zhao Yun'er. His heart was very uncomfortable. At this moment, Mu Lianfeng's mind was filled with the scene of Zhao Yun'er confronting the black-clothed man before he fell unconscious. Chapter 200. He didn't expect that a woman could be so good at fighting. At that moment, when Zhao Yun'er subdued the man in black, he was really amazed. Mu Lianfeng had always been uninterested in women, but now he knew that it wasn't his problem, but that he hadn't met a woman who could make him fall in love with her. Looking at Zhao Yun'er who was sleeping soundly, Mu Lianfeng's lips curled up into a smile. This feeling was very good. He couldn't move in bed. Otherwise he really wanted to touch Zhao Yun'er's face. The next day Zhao Yun'er woke up early and had to go to the town to deliver bullfrogs. Zhao Yun'er woke up and went to check on Mu Lianfeng's situation. She saw that Mu Lianfeng's face looked more rosy than yesterday. She was relieved. It seemed that the effect of this herb was not bad. After delivering bullfrogs to the town today, Zhao Yun'er was going to buy some pig livers. Pig livers nourished the blood. Mu Lianfeng had lost so much blood yesterday, so he had to eat something that nourished the blood to make up for his body. In addition to pig livers, Zhao Yun'er also wanted to buy some brown sugar and longan, which were all nourishing for the body. Since Mu Lianfeng was with her, she had to take good care of him and let him get better as soon as possible. Zhao Yun'er knew that one of the reasons why she could treat Mu Lianfeng like this was because she liked Mu Lianfeng. If it were someone else, she might not be like this. Zhao Yun'er got closer to Mu Lianfeng's face and found that this man was really delicate. His skin was so white that women couldn't help but envy him. When he was asleep, his eyelashes were very long, and they cast a layer of shadow in the dim candlelight. He was very good looking. His nose was high and his mouth was even more beautiful. Looking at this mouth, she really couldn't help but want to kiss it. The more Zhao Yun'er looked at it, the more she couldn't help but sink into it. When the thought of kissing Mu Lianfeng flashed through her mind, Zhao Yun'er hurriedly shook her head. She was really possessed. How could he be so perverted? Taking advantage of a beautiful man while he was asleep? She was a police officer. She would never do such a shameless thing. Since he wasn't going to kiss her, he could at least take a look. Zhao Yun stared at Mu Lianfeng's eyebrows and eyes carefully. This man looked better up close. It turned out that real handsome men were much better looking than the handsome men on TV. With Mu Lianfeng's looks, if he were to become a celebrity in the 21st century, many fangirls would probably go crazy for him, right? Mu Lianfeng's long eyelashes fluttered, and his beautiful eyes suddenly opened. The two of them looked at each other. Zhao Yun'er jumped away in fright. Why did he suddenly wake up? Didn't Mu Lianfeng know that she was peeking at him now? Zhao Yun'er felt unusually embarrassed, and her face immediately turned red. She smiled awkwardly at Mu Lianfeng and said, "You're awake?" "Yes." Mu Lianfeng nodded in response. "It's good that you're awake. How are you? Do you feel badly hurt?" "I'm okay. I can hold on." "That's good." Since he was awake, it meant that he was out of danger. Zhao Yun'er asked Mu Lianfeng a question because of her guilty conscience, but she didn't know what to say. "Miss Yun'er, thank you for saving me." Mu Lianfeng also felt a little reserved when the two of them were alone. He felt inexplicably nervous. Chapter 201. Miss Yun'er, thank you so much. Zhao Yun'er blushed even more when she saw Mu Lianfeng's passionate eyes and serious face. "Well, Mr. Mu, why would someone want to kill you?" Zhao Yun'er asked. Mu Lianfeng smiled and said casually, "The forces in the imperial court are complicated. If you stand on the wrong side, someone will naturally take action against you. It's a very common thing. Miss Yun'er, you don't have to worry." Mu Lianfeng still didn't explain clearly, and Zhao Yun'er didn't intend to ask in detail. She understood what Mu Lianfeng said at all. In ancient times, the relationships in the imperial court were complicated. The interest groups were different. It was indeed normal for the opposite side to obstruct and take action against each other. After all, no one wanted their interests to be damaged. "When will Mr. Mu go back? If it's in the air mansion, I can help to call someone." Zhao Yun'er's words sounded like she was urging Mu Lianfeng to go back. Mu Lianfeng was a grown man. It was indeed inconvenient for him to live in her house. Besides, her house was not like the air mansion. Her family was poor, so the food that she could give Mu Lianfeng to nourish his body was limited. If he lived in the air mansion would take out the best things for Mu Lianfeng to recuperate. Zhao Yun'er regretted saying this. Was she too straightforward? Would Mu Lianfeng think too much? She wasn't a stingy person. She didn't chase Mu Lianfeng away because she was reluctant to spend money. She was completely considerate of Mu Lianfeng. In a shabby place like her house, Mu Lianfeng would really suffer. Mu Lianfeng was stunned by Zhao Yun'er's question. After pondering for a moment, he said to Zhao Yun'er, "Could I trouble Miss Yun'er to take care of him during this period of time? We can't return to the air manor for the time being." Mu Lianfeng said seriously. Zhao Yun'er thought that if Mu Lianfeng went back, he would be in danger. She naturally didn't want Mu Lianfeng to have an accident. "Oh, I see. If you don't mind, Mr. Mu, I don't mind you staying here to recuperate." "It's all right. I'm already very grateful that Miss Yun'er is willing to take me in." Mu Lianfeng smiled and a sly look flashed in his eyes. In fact, as long as Zhao Yun'er sent a message to the air manor, someone would come to pick him up. He wouldn't be in danger even if the air manor's guards were dispatched. However, when Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yun'er, he began to plan in his heart. He didn't want to go back immediately. Instead, he wanted to spend some time with Zhao Yun'er and spend some time here. "It's fine." Zhao Yun'er was now worried that she would have to spend some time alone with Mu Lianfeng like this in the future. She was a little nervous but also a little excited. Zhao Yun'er couldn't describe her feelings. "Mr. Mu, are you hungry? I'll cook something for you first. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until noon to eat," Zhao Yun'er said. Mu Lianfeng had been unconscious for a day and hadn't eaten anything. He was a little hungry, so he nodded and said, "Thank you, Miss Yun'er." "It's fine." Zhao Yun'er went to the kitchen and made a bowl of egg noodles. There wasn't anything good at home. When the noodles were ready, Zhao Yun'er woke Daodu up and asked Daodu to eat some first. Mu Lianfeng didn't know if it was because he was hungry, but he ate the bowl of egg noodles with great satisfaction. The noodles in the bowl were clean and there were no leftovers. Mu Lianfeng still had some aftertaste as if he hadn't eaten enough. Zhao Yun'er handed over a handkerchief, and Mu Lianfeng wiped his mouth gracefully. Chapter 202. Is that so? It's really delicious. Zhao Yun'er felt that Mu Lianfeng was used to eating delicacies. With his identity, he could have anything he wanted. Wouldn't a bowl of eggs seem a little shabby for him? It's good that you like it. Then I'll go out first. I have to deliver the goods. Young Master Mu, your injuries are more serious. Try to lie on the bed and don't move. Have a good rest. Zhao Yun instructed. Okay. Zhao Yun left with the basket on her back and closed the door. Zhao Yun only returned to the village when it was close to noon. Today she went to the town to buy brown sugar longan, pork liver and pork. Zhao Yun felt that her money was flowing out. It was not easy to make money, but the speed of spending money was really fast. She just casually bought some things and the money was gone. It seemed that it was still very difficult to save money to build a house. Zhao Yun had asked before. It was cheap to build a house in ancient times. Otherwise, many people would not be crowded in a house. Putting aside the foundation, there was no need to buy a house on the original foundation. If she bought a new house, she would need at least 1 or 2 taels of silver. It was much cheaper than the field, but it was still not a small expense. If it was an adobe house, the price would be much lower. However, this kind of house was not sturdy. Zhao Yun did not plan to build this kind of house. Building a brick house required a combination of materials and labor. Building 3 houses would cost more than 10 taels of silver. That was a huge sum of money. Zhao Yun only had 600 copper coins in her pocket after deducting the expenses. Mu Lianfeng would probably spend more money living in her house during this period of time. Not to mention saving money, it was already good that she did not spend the 600 copper coins that she had saved up. Therefore, 10 taels of silver was simply too far away for her to reach in her current situation. Zhao Yun opened the door and put down the basket she was carrying. Dao Du leaned against Mu Lianfeng and listened to Mu Lianfeng's words. The scene of the two of them together was very heartwarming. Zhao Yun looked at Dao Du and Mu Lianfeng, who were leaning against each other, and felt that the two of them looked more and more alike. At first glance they looked like father and son. Mu Lianfeng said something that made Dao Du giggle. Zhao Yun had never seen such a bright smile on Dao Du's face. Was this little milk bun really that happy to be with Mu Lianfeng? He was happier than when he was with her. Seeing that Zhao Yun had returned, Dao Du quickly climbed down from the bed and went to Zhao Yun. Mother, you're back? Yes, mother is back. What are Dao Du and your Uncle Feng talking about so happily? Zhao Yun still couldn't help but be curious, so she asked Lil P seemingly unintentionally. To Zhao Yun's surprise, Dao Du and Mu Lianfeng looked at each other and communicated with their eyes for a moment. Dao Du smiled and said to Zhao Yun, "Oh, mother, it's nothing." Dao Du didn't say anything to Uncle Feng. Zhao Yun was speechless. This little milk bun actually learned how to lie. There was obviously something going on. Otherwise, why would he be smiling so happily? In front of Mu Lianfeng, Zhao Yun couldn't continue to ask. "I'll go cook for you," Zhao Yun said. "Mother, Dao Du will help you too," Dao Du said softly and followed Zhao Yun out of the room. Chapter 203. Mom, is Uncle Feng going to stay with us for a long time? Dao Du asked in his baby voice. Zhao Yun thought for a while. I think so. Mu Lianfeng was seriously injured. If he didn't go back to the air mansion, he would have to recuperate for a long time at her place. She estimated that it would take half a month to more than a month. Dao Du was very excited when he heard that. He couldn't hide the smile on his little face and his eyes lit up. Zhao Yun's mouth twitched for a while. Dao Du, do you want your Uncle Feng to stay with us so much? Yes, Dao Du likes Uncle Feng. If Uncle Feng can stay with us, maybe Uncle Feng will fall in love with you. Uncle Feng can also be Dao Du's father. Zhao Yun was impressed by this little boy. She couldn't wait to let Mu Lianfeng be his father. Dao Du was young and immature. He just wanted to have a father. If Dao Du's biological father heard Dao Du's words, what would he think? Mom, Uncle Feng is with us now. Dao Du will work hard. Mom, you have to work hard too. Okay. Looking at Dao Du's mischievous behavior, Zhao Yun couldn't help laughing. He knew how to scheme at such a young age. Love wasn't so simple. It wasn't easy to fall in love with someone. The lunch was very sumptuous. There was pork liver soup, braised pork, cabbage and fried beans. Zhao Qianfu came over at noon. He said that he had eaten at home. Now Liang Jinxiao insisted that Zhao Qianfu eat at home before he came over. He was afraid that Zhao Qianfu would eat at Zhao Yun's place again. Qianfu, are you full? No. Zhao Tianfu shook his head and answered Zhao Yun honestly. Zhao Qianfu was used to eating at Zhao Yun's place. When he went back and ate old Zhao's food, he really couldn't swallow it. After all, there wasn't much oil and old Zhao's cooking skills were ordinary. If I'm not full, I'll eat some more at second sister's place. Zhao Qianfu shook his head. Second sister, mother doesn't allow me to eat. Zhao Yun smiled and continued to persuade Zhao Tianfu, it's okay. If second sister says it's okay, then it's okay. It's not like we haven't eaten. The lunch today is so good. Don't you want to eat it? Zhao Tianfu looked at the red braised pork on the table. He swallowed his saliva. You don't want to eat? How could this be? It's okay. If second sister doesn't tell mother, mother won't know either. Under Zhao Yun'er's persuasion, Zhao Tianfu's original insistence also loosened. She was still a child after all. In the face of delicious food, she couldn't control herself. Zhao Yun scooped rice for the two children, and they leaned over the table to eat. Mu Lianfeng lay on the bed and couldn't get out. Zhao Yun brought a bowl of rice to the bed. Mu Lianfeng's right hand had been stabbed, so he couldn't move. Zhao Yun originally wanted to let Mu Lianfeng eat by himself. Mu Lianfeng couldn't use one of his hands, and the other hand couldn't be used smoothly. He couldn't pick up the food with his chopsticks at all. Looking at Mu Lianfeng's distressed appearance of trying hard and failing again and again, Zhao Yun couldn't bear to watch anymore. She said to Mu Lianfeng, "Young Master Mu, let me feed you?" Mu Lianfeng was stunned. He raised his beautiful eyes to look at Zhao Yun and said to Zhao Yun apologetically, "Miss Yun, sorry to trouble you." Zhao Yun shook her head. "It's okay." Chapter 204. She had never fed a man before, especially a handsome man like Mu Lianfeng. Zhao Yun sat on the edge of Mu Lianfeng's bed to make it easier for her to feed him. Even the distance between them became unusually close. Her heart was thumping, and Zhao Yun could even feel her heartbeat speeding up. Mu Lianfeng's eyes seemed to be staring at her. Under Mu Lianfeng's scorching gaze, Zhao Yun felt that her ears and face began to heat up. She had a feeling of wanting to escape immediately, but she still had to bite the bullet and continue. Different from Zhao Yun's nervousness and shyness, Mu Lianfeng had a faint smile on his face. "Open your mouth." Zhao Yun fed Mu Lianfeng the food and said casually. Zhao Yun treated such an injured person like a child. "Okay." Mu Lianfeng cooperated with Zhao Yun and opened his mouth. He enjoyed the process of Zhao Yun feeding him. Zhao Yun gave Mu Lianfeng a big bowl of pig liver soup. The other two children also drank a little. There was still a bowl left. She planned to heat it up for Mu Lianfeng to eat at night. In addition to the pig liver soup, Mu Lianfeng ate 3 bowls of rice. Zhao Yun saw that Mu Lianfeng's appetite was really too big. If it went on like this, her expenses and budget would be much bigger. Mu Lianfeng couldn't treat him badly. He had to cook some delicious food every day. In this way, it really cost a lot of money. Zhao Yun fed Mu Lianfeng and quickly ran away. After being close to Mu Lianfeng for so long, her heart was pounding violently. She felt suffocated. I'm going to eat too." Zhao Yun whispered. "Okay." Mu Lianfeng's voice was soft. Zhao Yun quickly ate her lunch. In the afternoon, Daodu and Zhao Tianfu continued to catch bullfrogs in the field. Zhao Yun first helped Mu Lianfeng change his dressing and bandage his wound. Yesterday, when Mu Lianfeng fainted, Zhao Yun helped Mu Lianfeng bandage his wound. Now that Mu Lianfeng was awake, Zhao Yun didn't know how to help him. "Mr. Mu, can you apply the medicine yourself?" Zhao Yun asked timidly. Mu Lianfeng was struck dumb for a second, then he thought for a few seconds and said to Zhao Yun, I may have to trouble you to change my dressing. I can't move my arm and I can't do it with one hand." Zhao Yun felt helpless. It meant that she had to help Mu Lianfeng change his dressing. There was no other person here who could help Mu Lianfeng. There were men who could help, and Zhao Yun didn't want to expose Mu Lianfeng. "Well, I'll change it for you." "Thank you, Yun. You may need to take off your clothes. Mr. Mu, don't you mind being seen by me?" Zhao Yun asked with a guilty conscience. "Didn't Yun change my clothes yesterday? Since Yun has already seen it, it doesn't matter if you see it a second or third time," Mu Lianfeng said with a smile. Mu Lianfeng didn't mean anything else, but Zhao Yun felt more embarrassed after hearing Mu Lianfeng's words. She had no choice but to see his naked body. Did Mu Lianfeng misunderstand that she was a pervert? He felt like weeping but had no tears. "Yun, it's fine. I'm a man, not a woman. Even if you see my naked body, it won't be a loss," Mu Lianfeng said again. Chapter 205. In fact, Mu Lianfeng did not even have a maid to serve him in the Morong mansion. All the maids who served him were men. For someone of Mu Lianfeng's status, there were maids to serve him when he took a bath. However, when Mu Lianfeng took a bath, he did not allow maids to stay by his side. He did not like women to appear by his side, nor did he like his body to be seen by women. However, Mu Lianfeng only said such words to Zhao Yun'er. Mu Lianfeng also realized that many of his original perseverance disappeared in front of Zhao Yun'er. Miss Yun'er, you don't mind, do you? Will it be unfair for Miss Yun'er? I don't mind. Zhao Yun'er shook her head. Why would she mind? If it were another woman who let her see such a handsome man, she would be more than happy. Let's apply the medicine. Zhao Yun'er helped Mu Lianfeng untie the clothes on his body with trembling hands. The white cloth that was originally bandaged was dirty, so Zhao Yun'er took out a new clean white cloth. After applying the medicine, she continued to bandage Mu Lianfeng again. It took more than half an hour. Zhao Yun'er was nervous, but she really did not have the mood to look at Mu Lianfeng's body. Okay, you lie on the bed and have a good rest. I'll go out for a while. Okay. Mu Lianfeng watched Zhao Yun'er's figure leave and put away the thoughts in his eyes. He was obviously seriously injured, but at this moment not only did he not feel pain, but he also felt happy in his heart. If possible, he really wanted to stay at Zhao Yun'er's place and not leave. Whether it was with Zhao Yun'er or with Daodu, Mu Lianfeng felt relaxed. This feeling was something he had never felt in the Crown Prince's mansion. Zhao Yun'er took the cloth to Auntie Lu and asked her how to make the clothes. No matter how much he tried to figure it out, he still couldn't figure it out. Auntie Lu's family had been quite busy these few days. There were many fields at home and the seedlings had to be cultivated. After a while they would start transplanting rice seedlings. Women rarely worked in the fields. The 3 men in Aunt Lu's family were more or less able to finish the work. As for the women, they did housework at home, cooking, washing clothes, raising chickens and pigs and so on. Actually, it wasn't easy. When Zhao Yun'er went to Auntie Lu's house, Auntie Lu was feeding the chickens outside the house. When the villagers raised chickens, they basically raised hens. Hens ate less than roosters and could also lay eggs to exchange for money. The price of the eggs was 1 copper coin each. After feeding the chickens, he would use some rice bran to fill the chicken with rice and other things. Sometimes he could also dig some earthworms and cut some vegetable leaves to feed the chickens. The cost of raising the chickens was not very high. Auntie Lu. Zhao Yun'er walked closer and called out. Her footsteps weren't light, but Auntie Lu seemed to be deep in thought and didn't notice her arrival. It wasn't until Zhao Yun'er called out that Auntie Lu reacted. Yun'er, you're here? Is there something you need? Zhao Yun'er nodded. Auntie Lu, I bought some cloth for Daodu. I want to make a set of clothes for him, but I don't know how to do it myself, so I'm here to ask for advice. Auntie Lu saw the cloth in Zhao Yun'er's hands. Yun'er, this cloth isn't cheap, is it? It's a little expensive. It's rare to make a set of clothes for Daodu, so it's a little expensive. Chapter 206. Yes. I haven't made clothes for Daodu in the past few years. It's not easy to make clothes for him. Naturally, I have to make it well. Okay. Yun'er, come in and sit in the house. I'll tell you slowly. Aunt Lu said. Zhao Yun'er nodded and entered the house with Aunt Lu. Aunt Lu had 2 daughters-in-law. The eldest daughter-in-law, Madame Sun, had already returned from her maternal home. Madame Zhou went to deliver tea to the men working in the fields. Aunt Lu had 3 granddaughters. The eldest was 8 years old, the second was 6 years old, and the youngest was 3 or 4 years old. They were about the same age as Daodu. Although the children were young, they were very well behaved. Other than playing, they helped the family with some small chores. The little girls were very delicate and pretty, but they were not like children in modern times. They were clean and did not have such beautiful little clothes or dresses to wear. Zhao Yun'er stared at the children. After having a son, she suddenly wanted to have a daughter. If she had a daughter, she would definitely dress the child up beautifully. She would wear the most beautiful little clothes and dress the child up like a little princess. Of course, these were just Zhao Yun'er's thoughts. Not to mention that she did not have the conditions to have a child. It was not her own business to have a child. At least she needed a man. Where could she find a man? The children were stared at by Zhao Yun'er and lowered their heads in embarrassment. They ran away from Zhao Yun'er all of a sudden. Zhao Yun'er smiled. She guessed that they were shy. Zhao Yun'er sat down in front of Aunt Lu and listened to Aunt Lu's careful explanation. Zhao Yun'er nodded repeatedly as she listened. However, making clothes was still a little complicated. Zhao Yun'er felt that her IQ could not keep up. If there was something she did not understand, Zhao Yun'er would ask clearly and then seriously remember it. Otherwise, she would have to go to Auntie Lu's place and trouble her. Yun'er, why don't you hand the cloth over to me? I'll make a set of clothes for Daodu later, but it'll take a little longer. It's fine if you're not in a hurry. Seeing that Auntie Lu was so concerned about Daodu, Zhao Yuner was a little touched, but she still rejected Auntie Lu. Firstly, he felt that it was too troublesome for her. Secondly, he still had to do it in the future, so he couldn't keep troubling her. There's no need, Auntie Lu. I'll do it myself when I get back. If you teach me how to do it, I'll have to figure it out slowly when I get back. If you can't do it the first time, you'll get it done the second time and the third time. Auntie Lu laughed heartily when she heard that. He felt that Zhao Yuner was really different from before. Yuner girl, you've never been to school, but you can still talk about these great principles. You're really amazing. Auntie Lu looked at Zhao Yuner with admiration in her eyes. Zhao Yuner smiled slightly. What she said was not great principles. It was just something she often heard from others. Auntie Lu and Zhao Yuner chatted for a while. Zhao Yuner could feel that Auntie Lu was absent-minded from time to time. She felt that she was worried about something, so she asked. Chapter 207. Auntie Lu's face was full of worry as she spoke. People in the countryside were most afraid of getting sick. A minor illness was enough for their family to suffer, let alone a serious illness. Basically, they could casually take a few medicines and it would cost a few hundred copper coins. Who could afford to pay a few hundred taels of silver for a serious illness? The short lifespan of the ancient people was not only related to diet. Sometimes, when they encountered such a serious illness and had no money to treat it, they would simply not treat it and let it die naturally. Uncle Lu was only in his 50s and was not old. At home he could help with a lot of farm work. Sometimes, he could even go to the town and sell some small things in the city to earn some money. If Uncle Lu passed away, there would be one less man in the family and life would be much harder. Uncle Lu and Auntie Lu had a good relationship and the family was harmonious. Putting that aside, as a family member, they naturally could not bear to see a member of the family die. As Auntie Lu spoke, she sighed again. My old man is lying in bed. At night, he's complaining that his body hurts. I'm afraid that if I don't take him to the city for treatment, he won't be able to hold on much longer. Seeing him in pain at night, I don't feel good in my heart. Zhao Yuner could understand Auntie Lu's feelings, but she did not know how to comfort her. Auntie Lu's family had a few mu of land. If they sold it, they could get some money. However, if the villagers lost their land, their family would not be able to live anymore. Although she was helpless, after weighing the pros and cons, she could only endure the pain and not treat Uncle Lu. Therefore, at present, only money could help Auntie Lu. Zhao Yuner thought about it and came up with a solution. Auntie Lu, can Brother Shanzi and Brother Muzi spare some time? Auntie Lu asked curiously. Yuner, what's wrong? Zhao Yuner did not hide anything in front of Auntie Lu. Instead, she told Auntie Lu about her method of making money. Auntie Lu knew that bullfrogs could be sold at such a high price and was very surprised. However, she did not doubt Zhao Yuner. Auntie Lu thought for a while. Zhao Yuner could afford to buy such good clothes for Daodu, so she really made money. Auntie Lu, this thing sells well and the restaurant buys a lot of them. We can't catch much of them in our village every day. If Brother Shanzi or Muzi have time, you can help me collect some of them from the surrounding villages and I'll send them to the restaurant. When the time comes, we'll split the money they earn from the bullfrogs 50-50. This way, I can also save some money to treat Uncle Lu as soon as possible. Little Yun, it's been a little busy recently. Let Mu Zi handle the work in the fields alone. Later on, we women can also work in the fields. Let Shan Zi go to other villages to collect the crops. It's okay, Auntie Lu. If you don't help me collect them, I won't have the time to go there myself and I won't be able to earn the money. I can get 50% more. It's free. I should be grateful to you. Zhao Yuner said. Chapter 208. The main purpose of her doing this was to help Aunt Lu's family. As for money, she didn't care too much about it. When she was in trouble, Aunt Lu had helped her a lot. As a person, she knew how to be grateful. When others were in trouble, she naturally had to help them. Zhao Yuner could tell that Aunt Lu didn't really want to trouble Zhao Yuner. The current situation was too helpless. This time she owed Zhao Yuner a favor and she would repay it in the future. Zhao Yuner didn't stay at Aunt Lu's place for long before she went back. In the afternoon, she was busy with the vegetable garden. Seeing that it was spring, the trees were lush and green, and there were many places where bright flowers were growing. Zhao Yuner dug up some morning glories and planted them beside the fence of the vegetable garden. When the early summer season came, the morning glories would bloom. It should be very beautiful then, right? Zhao Yun finished the work at hand and entered the house. She met Mu Lianfeng's eyes. He was lying on the bed alone and it was obvious that he was really bored. Zhao Yun was embarrassed to be alone in the house with him. She felt that the atmosphere would be a little awkward. What made Zhao Yun heave a sigh of relief was that Mu Lianfeng was more talkative and could always talk about a topic. Zhao Yun's impression of Mu Lianfeng also changed a little. This man was not very deep and cold. Miss Yun. Mu Lianfeng called out to Zhao Yun and looked at her a little awkwardly. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng's face was slightly red, Zhao Yun asked, "What's wrong?" Mu Lianfeng's face turned even redder. "Miss Yun, I want to go to the toilet." Zhao Yun was slightly stunned and her face also turned red. The two of them looked at each other and only felt that it was strange. Zhao Yun knew that Mu Lianfeng wanted to go to the toilet because he wanted to poop. He didn't say it so bluntly. Mu Lianfeng also had a wound on his ankle, so it was best for him to stay in bed and not move. Zhao Yun had specially prepared a urinal for Mu Lianfeng to pee in. As for defecating, she had never thought of it. Mu Lianfeng's stomach growled a few times. Zhao Yun reacted and whispered to Mu Lianfeng, I'll take you there. Damn it, this is really awkward. Zhao Yun lowered her head, not daring to look at Mu Lianfeng. After all, she was just a woman and not a tomboy. She wasn't that thick-skinned. Then I'll have to trouble Miss Yun. Mu Lianfeng thanked her, and his tone was also very embarrassed. Zhao Yun supported Mu Lianfeng, and Mu Lianfeng put one hand on Zhao Yun's shoulder. When Mu Lianfeng stood up and Zhao Yun leaned against Mu Lianfeng's body, she realized that Mu Lianfeng was really much taller than her. She was like a weak little doll that couldn't stand the wind. And beside him, close to Mu Lianfeng, the tip of her nose was enveloped by Mu Lianfeng's pleasant scent. Her head started to feel dizzy. She actually liked the feeling of being so close to Mu Lianfeng. Was he possessed? Why did he keep having unrealistic fantasies these days? Zhao Yun supported Mu Lianfeng and walked with difficulty. Mu Lianfeng's body was too big and heavy. With her weak body, she couldn't exert much strength. The ancient countryside's latrine pit was very simple. Some straw was used to build a simple shed, and there was a vat inside. 2 wooden planks were placed on top of the vat, and people stood on the 2 planks to defecate. Chapter 209. Ancient times were not like modern times, where there were all kinds of man-made compound fertilizers. In this era, the fertilizers were all kinds of feces. Although it sounded a little disgusting, the vegetables grown with this kind of natural fertilizer were definitely more delicious than those grown with compound fertilizers. Mu Lianfeng was supported by Zhao Yun to the latrine pit. He was stunned and looked at it with uncertainty. Miss Yun, is this the place? Mu Lianfeng asked. He probably felt that this latrine pit was too shabby, right? Zhao Yun guessed in her heart. Mu Lianfeng's identity was not ordinary. He lived in the Shitzi residence. The latrine in the residence was definitely much better than the latrine pit in her house. When Zhao Yun had just transmigrated, she was really not used to this latrine pit. Now that she had used it for a period of time, she slowly got used to it. It's here. Zhao Yun responded. She glanced at Mu Lianfeng's reaction. As expected, a trace of shock and helplessness flashed in his eyes. Zhao Yun also had no choice. The latrine pit at home was like this. What could she do? It was a pity that there were no flush toilets in this era. Otherwise, it would be much more convenient. Can I do it? Mu Lianfeng asked with uncertainty. If he squatted down, his injured leg would definitely have to exert force. However, his leg was so badly injured. If he exerted force, the wound would definitely split open, right? Even if he could barely support himself with one leg, he still felt that it was a little difficult to take a dump like this. Young Master Mu, can you just make do with it? The latrines in the village are all like this. I can't help you find a better one. If I can find one, I will definitely bring you there. The more Zhao Yun spoke, the softer her voice became. Not long after she said it, she started to regret it and wanted to take it back. It was obviously too late. After Mu Lianfeng recovered from his shock, a faint smile appeared on his face. Looking at Zhao Yun's blushing face, he felt that she was unusually cute. Miss Yun, it's okay, I'll make do with it. I'm just afraid that my leg can't take it. If it can't take it, I'll get up again. All right. Zhao Yun helped Mu Lianfeng in. The latrine pit was too small, so she could only stand outside and let Mu Lianfeng go in alone. Besides, Mu Lianfeng was a grown man squatting down to defecate. Not to mention whether he was used to it or not, she would definitely be too embarrassed to look if there was someone beside him who was in the way. Go in by yourself. I'll wait for you outside. Zhao Yuner said, her face as red as a monkey's butt. Mu Lianfeng didn't say much and just nodded. Just as Zhao Yuner turned her back to him, Mu Lianfeng called out to Zhao Yuner again. Miss Yuner, what's wrong? Zhao Yuner asked without turning around. Miss Yuner, I may need to trouble you, Mu Lianfeng said. One could hear the guilt in his tone. Young Master Mu, if there's anything you need, just let me know. I can't untie my belt with one hand. Can I trouble Miss Yuner to help me untie it? Zhao Yuner listened for a long time before she could react. Her mouth was agape. For a moment she didn't know what to say. This guy meant that he wanted her to help him take off his pants. As a woman, Zhao Yuner was naturally very embarrassed. Miss Yuner. Mu Lianfeng could see Zhao Yuner's embarrassment, but he couldn't say it out loud. However, his left hand really couldn't untie it. Chapter 210. Of course, it was her first time doing this, so she was inevitably a little nervous. She moved closer to Mu Lianfeng, and the distance between the two of them was very close. When Zhao Yuner's hand reached out to Mu Lianfeng's belt, her hand began to tremble. The belts of ancient people were somewhat similar to the belts of modern times. However, Zhao Yuner still didn't know how to untie this thing. Just like the clothes of ancient times, it was much more complicated to wear than modern clothes. When she first transmigrated, Zhao Yuner even studied how to wear clothes. Zhao Yuner tried for 2 to 3 minutes, but she still couldn't untie it. She became even more anxious. Wasn't this a little too awkward? Mu Lianfeng didn't expect that Zhao Yuner didn't even know how to untie his belt. He lowered his head and saw Zhao Yuner's beautiful eyes staring at his belt. Her body was trembling slightly. He could feel Zhao Yuner's nervousness. Miss Yuner, take your time. There's no rush. Mu Lianfeng comforted her. It was fine if Mu Lianfeng didn't speak, but once he spoke, Zhao Yuner felt even more embarrassed. Young Master Mu, I've never seen your belt before. I don't know how to untie it. Zhao Yuner's answer stunned Mu Lianfeng. I'll study it again. Young Master Mu, wait for me. Zhao Yuner said with a red face. The two of them looked at each other and felt that something was wrong. After Mu Lianfeng was stunned for a few seconds, the corners of his mouth curled up into an inexplicable smile. However, Zhao Yuner lowered her head and didn't see it. Okay, Miss Yuner. The smell in the latrine was a little strong. Zhao Yuner naturally didn't want Mu Lianfeng to smell it for so long. He looked at Mu Lianfeng again, and finally helped Mu Lianfeng untie his belt. Seeing that Mu Lianfeng's pants almost fell down, Zhao Yuner hurriedly helped Mu Lianfeng pull up his pants. Otherwise she would really see Mu Lianfeng's butt. It didn't matter if she looked at the man's upper body, but if she looked at his lower body again, it would be very awkward. Young Master Mu, your pants are about to fall off. You have to lift them up yourself. All right. Mu Lianfeng reached out and pulled up his pants. Zhao Yuner quickly turned around and walked out of the latrine. You're such a piece of sh*t. I'll wait for you outside. Call me if anything happens, Zhao Yuner said. All right. Zhao Yuner waited for a while. When Mu Lianfeng called her again, Zhao Yuner thought that Mu Lianfeng was done, but she didn't expect Mu Lianfeng to say, Miss Yuner, do you have toilet paper? Toilet paper? No. Zhao Yuner said. She forgot to bring it when she went out just now. People in this era, especially the people in the countryside, rarely use toilet paper. They used a wooden stick to remove it or wipe it off with tree leaves. The reason why they didn't use toilet paper wasn't that they didn't want to use it, but that the paper in this era was more expensive. Rich families could afford it, but the people in the countryside weren't willing to spend money on it. Zhao Yuner wasn't used to the way people wiped their butts here. Even if toilet paper was a little expensive, she still gritted her teeth and bought it. Then what should we do? It's in the house. Young Master Mu, I'll go get it for you, Zhao Yuner said with a red face. All right, Miss Yuner, I'll wait for you. All right, I'll be back soon. Zhao Yuner hurriedly ran back. Just as she entered the house, she heard the shouting outside. Zhao Yuner, you bitch, come out. Chapter 211. Zhao Yuner arrived at the door. It was a middle-aged woman with a face full of pockmarks and a very fat body. This kind of woman, such an ugly woman, Zhao Yuner had only seen this kind of woman on TV before, and it was made ugly by others. Based on the original owner's memories, if she remembered correctly, this woman should be Lu San's wife, Jin Hua. Zhao Yuner raised her eyebrows in displeasure and her cold voice sounded, I thought it was a mad dog barking in front of my house. So it's Sister Jin Hua. When Jinhua heard Zhao Yun mocking her as a mad dog, she was furious. Who are you calling a mad dog? I didn't say who. Zhao Yun spread her hands and said helplessly, I said I thought it was a mad dog. I didn't say you were a mad dog. Why did Sister Jinhua take it for granted? Speaking of which, Sister Jinhua is so angry. Why are you looking for me? When Zhao Yun said this, Jinhua became even more depraved. Why am I looking for you? Why am I looking for you? You bitch, you only know how to seduce people. Zhao Yun was naturally unhappy to be scolded like this. She vaguely guessed why Jinhua was here. It was probably because they had heard those groundless rumors and thought that she had an improper relationship with Lu San. Naturally, the women in the family couldn't stand their man fooling around with another woman. In the past, Zhao Yun couldn't understand why Lu San was still fooling around outside when he had a wife. Now that she saw Jinhua, she understood that it wasn't without reason. This Jinhua's appearance was really hard to explain. If it was a man, he probably wouldn't be able to do it, right? This kind of woman shouldn't be able to get married. However, Lu San was usually idle and his family's conditions were average. He didn't look that good either. He couldn't marry other women and could only marry Jinhua. Sister Jinhua, speak clearly. Who do you think I'm seducing? Who are you seducing? Do you know everything in your heart? You don't have a man, so you only know how to seduce other men. Are you that lacking in men? Fellow villagers, please judge for me, judge for me. Jinhua's voice was loud to begin with. With her shout, even more people came over to watch the show. Many of them were women who loved to join in the fun. Is there any justice in this world? Zhao Yun, that little slut, seduced people, seduced my man. Why is my life so bitter? When Jinhua saw that someone had come, she cried even louder, as if she was sad that her parents had died. Zhao Yun's mouth twitched. This woman really knew how to create momentum. With this shout, the whole village came over. She probably wanted to make a scene in front of the entire village so that she wouldn't have the face to be called a slut in the future. Whether it was in ancient times or modern times, cheating and being a mistress was a very shameful thing. There were some rumors about Zhao Yun and Lu San in private. With Jinhua making a scene, the matter was completely brought out into the open. Zhao Yun knew that Jinhua was doing it on purpose. Sister Jinhua, what you said is wrong. When did I seduce you? I've only seen you a few times, okay? You said that I seduced him, but you have to have evidence, right? Did you see it? Or did anyone else see it? Zhao Yun asked back. She wouldn't be so stupid to accept such a big accusation. Chapter 212. Evidence? You little b*tch, do you still need evidence? Ask the people in the village, who doesn't know that you seduced my man. Everyone tell us and be the judge. When Jinhua said this, the women who were originally discussing Zhao Yun and Lu San's matter all started chattering. As the saying goes, 3 people make a tiger. If something that didn't happen was said too much, it would naturally be taken as the truth. Zhao Yun's current situation was like this. Among these women who were discussing, there were many who liked to add insult to injury, hoping that Zhao Yun would make a fool of herself. It wasn't easy for them to find an opportunity, so they naturally did their best to hurt her. What evidence do you need? Everyone knows about it. She thought that no one knew about the stupid things she did. Quibbling. After all, it's a disgraceful thing. How can she admit it so easily? Jinhua is also pitiful. If my man was like this, I would definitely tear that little b*tch's face apart. She has the face of a vixen. She's here to seduce people. These women said one sentence after another. No matter how good Zhao Yun's mentality was, she couldn't help but get angry when she heard it. Of course, she didn't want to be wronged for something she didn't do. More and more people gathered around to join in the fun. In the crowd, a red figure hid at the back. When she heard these women's words, the corners of her mouth couldn't help but curl up. There was a hint of smugness in her eyes. She hid at the back to watch the show, but no one noticed her. She also hid the expression on her face very well. Seeing so many people helping her, Jinhua said to Zhao Yun proudly, b*tch, listen. So many people have said it and everyone knows about it. You still need evidence? Everyone tell us, do you still need evidence? Of course not. Jinhua, why are you talking nonsense with her? Someone jeered. Zhao Yun only felt that these people were funny, especially Jinhua's smug look. Hee, interesting. The so-called evidence is just hearsay? This is what everyone says, so it's true? Then what's the point of having evidence? Spend some money to bribe people. It doesn't matter even if you kill people, as long as everyone says that they didn't kill, isn't it fine? Zhao Yun replied faintly. A pair of cold eyes swept across Jin Hua's body. You're still twisting words and forcing logic. Is there anything wrong with what everyone said? So you're saying that everyone is lying and accusing you? That's not it. But since everyone is here, I would like to ask. Zhao Yun'er faced the woman who was condemning her and raised her voice. Since you all seem to be telling the truth, then let me ask you, who has seen me with Lu San with their own eyes? Did you see it with your own eyes or did you hear it from someone else? Zhao Yun'er's rhetorical question left all the women present speechless. They had all heard about it. How could they have seen it with their own eyes? I heard it from sister-in-law Mo Mei. Sister-in-law Mo Mei, have you seen it? No, I heard it from Sister Lanji. I heard it from Big Sis Chiner. I haven't seen it either. These people discussed for a while, but in the end they realized that they had all heard about it. No one had really seen it with their own eyes. In the end it was pushed to Xiao Hong. Chapter 213. Being asked about Xiao Hong was also stunned. She did not expect to be dragged out even though she had been hiding at the back. Everyone's gazes landed on her. Xiao Hong pursed her lips and said, I didn't see it with my own eyes. I heard it from others. Xiao Hong's face was a little stiff. Because she had lied, she kept blinking her eyes. Who did you hear it from? The woman could not help but ask. After all, they had to find the source of this matter. Once they found the source, they would know who had seen it with their own eyes. Being interrogated like this, Xiao Hong panicked and felt very guilty. How could I remember? It's been so many days. I forgot who told me. Xiao Hong's voice was very soft. You can even forget this. Little sister Xiao Hong, your memory is not bad. That's right. You're so young and you can't even remember such a small thing. Now, I wonder who saw it with their own eyes. Who can stand up and say something? These people's words fell into Zhao Yun'er's ears, including Xiao Hong's reaction. This Xiao Hong had a problem at first glance. It was impossible for rumors to appear out of nowhere. Thinking of the matter of Xiao Hong framing her before, Zhao Yun'er guessed that this time the rumors were spread by Xiao Hong again. Why was this woman so scheming? She had saved her back then and prevented her from being violated by Lu San. Now she was actually framing her and Lu San for having an affair. Damn it. Her conscience had been eaten by a dog. These women blabbered on and on. Zhao Yun'er's cold and sarcastic voice joined in. In that case, everyone only heard about it from hearsay. No one saw it with their own eyes? The women's confidence was clearly not as strong as before. They looked at each other. Without evidence, there was no point in saying anything. They were not fools. Of course, they understood that if no one had seen such a thing, the authenticity of the rumors was still up for debate. Who spread this? Seriously, how could they spread rumors without seeing it with their own eyes? That's right. Now that it's over, what can we say? Xiao Hong, why don't you remember who spread it? If you remember, let's quickly ask. Xiao Hong, think about it. Think carefully. The spearhead was pointed at Xiao Hong again. Xiao Hong was being interrogated. She was the one who spread the rumors. Who else could she point the finger at? What happened to you? I can't remember either. Zhao Yun'er's lips curled into a sneer. It would be strange if this Xiao Hong remembered. Of course, she would not admit that she had said it. All right, since everyone has heard that it's just a rumor, let's not talk about it anymore. Of course, how did this rumor spread? I think someone did something shameful and wanted to frame me. Even if you want to ruin my reputation, you shouldn't use such a despicable method. If I know who it is, I don't mind revealing what I know. Zhao Yun'er said this deliberately for Xiao Hong to hear. As expected, Xiao Hong's face instantly turned red. She glanced at Zhao Yun'er in a panic. Her guilty conscience was exposed. Chapter 214. Jin Hua had already determined this rumor in her heart. As the saying goes, there is no smoke without fire. She also knew what kind of person her man was. Zhao Yun'er was so pretty, so it was possible that Lu San had thoughts of being together with Zhao Yun'er. In addition, her man had naturally praised Zhao Yun'er in front of her, so Jin Hua remembered it even more. Zhao Yun'er was young and had no man. It was inevitable that she would have certain needs and seduce her man. Jin Hua's aura was aggressive, and Zhao Yun'er was not so easy to provoke. With such a big pot of *T being thrown at her, if she did not retaliate, she would be talked about in the village in the future. What? Sister Jin Hua, are you desperate enough to do anything? Were you calling a dog? Look, you're taking it personally again. I'm talking about a cornered dog jumping over the wall. It's an adjective. I'm not saying that you're a dog. How old is Sister Jinhua this year? Her ears are so bad. Zhao Yun'er mocked. This made Jinhua's face even redder. See if I don't tear your mouth apart. As Jinhua spoke, she waved her hand towards Zhao Yun'er. Crazy woman. Zhao Yun'er was too lazy to be polite with Jinhua. The matter had already been made clear. It was fine as long as other people understood. At least they would not continue to talk about this matter. Jinhua's wrist was twisted by Zhao Yun'er. When Jinhua turned around, Zhao Yun'er kicked Jinhua's butt again. Thus, Jinhua's fat body flew out and fell heavily on the ground. When everyone saw this, they could not help but exclaim in shock. Wasn't this Zhao Yun'er a little too powerful? Jinhua was such a fat person, but it was as if it was effortless to kick her. It hurts. Jinhua shouted. Not only was her body in pain, but her chin also hit the ground. It was very painful. There was also a bloody taste in his mouth. You slut, how dare you hit me? You seduced someone else's man and still dared to hit me. Is there any justice in this world? I need to find Li Zheng to be the judge. Jinhua struggled to get up from the ground. Since she couldn't beat Zhao Yun'er, she couldn't give up like this. She had to ruin Zhao Yun'er's reputation and let the whole village know about her wretched activities. Zhao Yun'er lowered her head and looked at the golden flowers. Is it really okay to bite people like this? Firstly, if I hit you, you're the one who rushed over to hit me. I can't just stick my head out and let you hit me, right? Secondly, you made up stories that didn't exist and caused trouble at my door. I haven't settled the score with you yet. Find Li Zheng to be the judge? Okay, I also want Li Zheng to be the judge. You don't even have any evidence, yet you came to my door and beat me up. That's not right, right? Jinhua blinked and was about to retort. Zhao Yun'er continued, Big Sister Jinhua, also you have to be more realistic when you bite people. I, Zhao Yun'er, don't have a man, but I think I'm pretty good looking. If I really lacked a man, I wouldn't find someone like your family's Lu San. Who doesn't know that Lu San has no ability, idles around, and doesn't look very good? This kind of man, other than you, Big Sister Jinhua, who treasures him. I want to ask all the sisters and aunties here, you are also women. If you want to find a man, would you find someone like Lu San? When Zhao Yun'er asked this rhetorical question, everyone suddenly felt that what Zhao Yun'er said made sense. Chapter 215. Just as Zhao Yun'er said, other than Jinhua, no one would be willing to stay with someone like Lu San. Zhao Yun'er was pretty, and everyone in the village knew that Lu Lei was interested in Zhao Yun'er. If Zhao Yun'er was looking for a man, she would look for Lu Lei. How could it be Lu San? Comparing the two of them, even a ghost would know who to choose. It seems that this matter isn't like what the rumors say. Yeah, why did we believe it in the past? Now that we think about it, isn't it too ridiculous? Zhao Yun'er isn't blind. Then someone must have deliberately spread it to ruin Zhao Yun'er's reputation. Who would be so ruthless to spread this? The women gathered together. After thinking about it, they began to suspect Xiao Hong. She was the only one who said that she didn't remember who spread it, but everyone heard it from her, so the possibility of her spreading it was very high. Seeing that these people were looking at her suspiciously, Xiao Hong quickly waved her hand and pretended to be pitiful. It wasn't me, it really wasn't me. I just can't remember who spread it. That's hard to say. Why would I spread this? I have no grudge against Sister Yun'er. Why would I harm her? Maybe you're jealous. Xiao Hong, everyone knows that you like Lu Lei, but Lu Lei doesn't like you. He likes Zhao Yun'er. Then it's really possible that Xiao Hong is the culprit. She's the only one. Who else would spread it? Although there was no evidence to prove that Xiao Hong was the one who spread it, these women roughly understood in their hearts. They didn't expect that Xiao Hong, who looked so innocent and harmless, would do such a thing. These women didn't scold Xiao Hong on the surface, but Xiao Hong couldn't stand their gazes. She ran out of the crowd. The corners of her eyes were red, and a few drops of tears hung down. Zhao Yun'er naturally saw Xiao Hong's back as she ran out. Zhao Yun'er did not want to comment on this woman. She only wanted to say that she deserved it. When Jinhua saw that everyone was no longer protecting her, she began to believe in Zhao Yun'er. His initial excitement and confidence to rush over instantly disappeared. She couldn't beat him in a fight and she couldn't reason with him either. Jinhua was caught between a rock and a hard place. Just as he was thinking about how to leave, a woman in her 40s or 50s came out to mediate. Alright Jinhua, since this is a misunderstanding, let's forget about it. That's right Jinhua. Someone is deliberately provoking you and using you as a tool. Look, you're suffering, aren't you? Let's go, let's go. Don't make a scene. It's not good for a village to make a scene. This gave Jinhua a platform, and Jinhua took the opportunity to step down. She said to Zhao Yuner, "Today's matter is a misunderstanding. I'll leave first. But don't try to seduce my man in the future. Otherwise, I'll make you suffer." Zhao Yuner only felt that it was hilarious. How could there be such a tyrannical and unreasonable person? Wait. Zhao Yuner shouted. Jinhua paused in her steps and turned around to ask Zhao Yuner, "What do you want now?" Chapter 216. Apologize? Why do I have to apologize? Jinhua started to make a fuss. Although she had wronged Zhao Yun, it didn't mean that she really thought she was wrong. Apologizing to Zhao Yun in front of so many people was really embarrassing. She came here so aggressively today, but the ending was like this. She reckoned that many people would laugh behind her back, right? Of course I have to apologize if I did something wrong. Zhao Yun. Don't push your luck. Who do you think you are? Jinhua glared at Zhao Yun. Obviously she was very angry with Zhao Yun. Big sister Jinhua, if you don't even want to reason with me, I don't mind using force. Zhao Yun put her hands on her waist and looked arrogant. Her aura completely crushed Jinhua. You? Jinhua was scared by Zhao Yun. No one was helping her. She couldn't beat Zhao Yun. Other than apologizing, she could only get beaten up. Wouldn't it be even more embarrassing if she went back with a bruised face? Jinhua was unhappy, but she still lowered her head and admitted her mistake. Okay, I was wrong, okay? Can we go now? Jinhua said. Her apology wasn't sincere. Zhao Yun couldn't be bothered to care so much. She reminded Jinhua, "You better watch your man. Don't let him fool around and say that someone seduced him." Zhao Yun hinted that Lu San was flirting with other women. Jinhua bit her lower lip and left in a huff. If she could keep an eye on her own man, would she still need to pick on Zhao Yun? After Jinhua left, the people who had come to watch the show also dispersed. The noisy front yard suddenly quieted down. Zhao Yun breathed a sigh of relief. Actually, Jinhua's ruckus was a good thing for her. If she were to personally explain to them one by one, no one would believe her. They would even think that there was something shady going on between her and Lu San. Now that he had made it clear to them, they were clear as well. Among them, someone had framed Zhao Yun. It was not as the rumors said. Zhao Yun smirked and turned to enter the house. Quarreling was also a waste of energy. After the quarrel, Zhao Yun suddenly felt weak. He wanted to sit down and rest. As soon as her butt landed on the stool, Zhao Yun suddenly remembered that she had left Mu Lianfeng alone in the latrine for a long time. Not only did Jinhua come over and cause a ruckus, but she also forgot about this matter. Zhao Yun hurriedly got up, jumped from the stool and rushed to the latrine. When she went over, Mu Lianfeng had already straightened his body and was pulling up his pants. Zhao Yun's mind went blank for a moment. When Mu Lianfeng saw Zhao Yun arrive, he was also a little embarrassed. "Young Master Mu, you didn't clean up your mess?" Zhao Yun felt a strong sense of guilt in her heart. She had delayed for so long. He was probably very uncomfortable waiting in the latrine, right? Seeing Mu Lianfeng's face turn red, Zhao Yun hurriedly explained why she didn't come. She didn't want to be misunderstood by Mu Lianfeng. "Young Master Mu, Mu Lianfeng's lips curled into a smile. "Miss Yun, it's fine." Mu Lianfeng could see Zhao Yun's guilt. "I saw that you prepared a wooden stick in the latrine, so I tried to use it. Since you can use it, I can use it too." Chapter 217. She blinked her eyes, unable to digest so much information. The toilet paper in her hand suddenly felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds. Mu Lianfeng was such a noble person. It was probably the first time he used such a wooden stick to wipe his butt. Not to mention that Mu Lianfeng was used to living like a prince for a long time. Even Zhao Yun, who was very adaptable, was not used to wiping her butt with a wooden stick. In the end, she made Mu Lianfeng wait for a long time. Mu Lianfeng had no choice but to use a wooden stick. Otherwise, not to mention the stench in the latrine, his injured foot would not be able to hold on for long. Now that Mu Lianfeng said this to her, he was probably comforting her and did not want her to feel too guilty. "Young Master Mu, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to forget, but someone came to my house to cause trouble just now." Zhao Yun began to explain, stuttering a little. The faint smile on Mu Lianfeng's lips was like a spring breeze, giving people a very fresh and comfortable feeling. "It's okay, Miss Yun." "I know," Mu Lianfeng said. His voice was soft with a hint of magnetic hoarseness. It was very pleasant to hear. The latrine was not far from Zhao Yun'er's house. Those people's voices were so loud just now, so Mu Lianfeng could roughly hear them. Seeing that those people slowly stopped making noise, Mu Lianfeng's foot really could not hold on anymore. Only then did he find a wooden stick and wipe it. "Young Master Mu, do you still want this toilet paper?" Zhao Yun'er handed the toilet paper over. "No, I'll use it next time." Okay, then Miss Yun'er send me back." "Oh, okay." Zhao Yun'er hurried over and helped Mu Lianfeng. The two of them hugged each other. Perhaps Mu Lianfeng had stayed in the latrine pit for too long. His body also carried the faint smell of the latrine pit. Mu Lianfeng was injured and could not bathe. This smell probably wouldn't go away in a short time. The guilt in Zhao Yun'er's heart deepened. It's all her fault. If Jin Hua hadn't come over, Mu Lianfeng wouldn't have to be like this. Zhao Yun'er helped Mu Lianfeng back and let him lie on the bed to recuperate. She sat down and quietly began to make clothes for Daodu. Not long after he sat down, footsteps came from outside the house again. It was Lu Lei. Zhao Yun'er was afraid that Lu Lei would rush in and see Mu Lianfeng, so she quickly went out of the house. "Brother Lazy, why are you here?" Zhao Yun'er asked with a smile. Lu Lei frowned, his eyes full of worry. He asked Zhao Yun'er with concern. "Yun'er, I heard that Jin Hua came to cause trouble for you? Are you okay? Why is there no one?" "She left after playing around. I'm fine now." "Brother Lazy, sorry for making you worry." When Lu Lei heard Zhao Yun'er say this, he sighed in relief. "That's good. Yun'er, you're not injured, are you?" Jin Hua was also very fierce in the village and had fought with many women. Therefore Lu Lei was afraid that Jin Hua had hurt Zhao Yun'er as well. "I'm fine. Brother Lazy, look at me. Am I not fine?" "That's good. Yun'er, it's good that you're not injured. I just heard about it. They all misunderstood you. Naturally, you're not that kind of person," Lu Lei said. Lu Lei had also heard about the rumors between Zhao Yun'er and Lu San. However, when others mentioned it to him, he scolded them. Chapter 218. Even if everyone in the world doubted Zhao Yun'er, he would never doubt Zhao Yun'er. If he liked someone, he would naturally trust her unconditionally. Seeing that this matter was resolved, Lu Lei breathed a sigh of relief for Zhao Yun'er. He didn't like others pointing fingers at Zhao Yun'er behind her back. Zhao Yun'er pulled a smile from the corner of her mouth. They are just making groundless accusations. They like to listen to hearsay and spread rumors. Since it's fake, there will always be loopholes. There will also be a day when the truth will come out. I didn't do it, so I'm not afraid. Zhao Yun'er's eyes were filled with stubbornness. This kind of gaze was exactly what Lu Lei had never seen in the eyes of other women. This kind of Zhao Yun'er was even more attractive to him. Yun'er, then you're fine. I'll go back first. Is there anything else you need my help with? If there's anything you need my help with, I'll leave after I'm done, okay? Lu Lei asked. It wasn't good for him to stay at Zhao Yun'er's house for too long. Since others could spread the news about Zhao Yun'er and Lu San, it was possible that the news about him and Zhao Yun'er could also spread. Lu Lei didn't want Zhao Yun'er to suffer any rumors about the matter that had just calmed down. It's okay, Brother Lei. There's nothing I need help with. Then I'll go back? And be careful on the road. Zhao Yun'er reminded him. Lu Lei looked at Zhao Yun'er reluctantly, then turned around and left. Zhao Yun'er looked at Lu Lei's back and sighed. She knew that Lu Lei had probably rushed over after hearing about her situation. He didn't stay for long, but he wanted to leave. She didn't urge him to stay at all. Zhao Yun'er still had a guilty conscience. She was afraid that Lu Lei would stay for one more second. If he accidentally entered her house and saw Mu Lianfeng, she really couldn't explain it clearly. During this period of time, Mu Lianfeng was also a troublesome matter. It would be best if she took Mu Lianfeng to the toilet when no one was around. Otherwise he wouldn't know if there would be rumors. As soon as Zhao Yun'er entered, she saw Mu Lianfeng craning his neck to look outside. Young Master Mu, what's wrong with you? Zhao Yun'er asked. It's nothing. I've been lying down for too long. My neck is a little uncomfortable. Mu Lianfeng said, but because he was lying, he didn't have enough confidence. She didn't dare to look at Zhao Yun'er. Young Master Mu, why don't I give you a massage? It might be better if you pinch it a little, Zhao Yun'er said. Wouldn't that be too much trouble for Miss Yun'er? It's okay. As Zhao Yun'er spoke, she sat down by the edge of the bed. Her slender fingers rested on Mu Lianfeng's neck and began to massage it. In the past, she often served her parents at home and massaged them from time to time, so her skills were not bad. Zhao Yun didn't think too much about it. When her hand rested on Mu Lianfeng's neck, Mu Lianfeng's body trembled. The contact between their bodies made Mu Lianfeng's mind go blank for a moment. Miss Yuner? Mu Lianfeng called out softly. What's wrong? Young Master Mu, is it uncomfortable for you? Did I use too much strength or too little? Mu Lianfeng was silent for a moment and shook his head. Other than this strange feeling, Mu Lianfeng still felt that Zhao Yuner's massage was very comfortable. Chapter 219. Mu Lianfeng didn't know how he could have such thoughts when facing Zhao Yuner. Miss Yun, who were you talking to just now? Mu Lianfeng asked casually. A friend of mine. I think it's a man? Yes. He cares about you very much, Mu Lianfeng murmured. His chest suddenly felt heavy and he felt very uncomfortable. Zhao Yun didn't understand why Mu Lianfeng suddenly said this. She felt that Mu Lianfeng was a little strange. Zhao Yun didn't want to continue with Lu Lei's question. She probably wouldn't be with Lu Lei, so she naturally didn't want to talk about anything. Most importantly, in front of Mu Lianfeng, Zhao Yun didn't want to talk about other men. Zhao Yun massaged Mu Lianfeng while thinking about things. She didn't hear Mu Lianfeng calling her a few times. Mu Lianfeng thought that something had happened to Zhao Yun. When he turned around, their faces were suddenly very close. They could even feel each other's breath. Zhao Yun's mind went blank for a moment and she jumped away. Young Master Mu Lianfeng's cheeks were also flushed. I'm sorry, Miss Yun. I called you just now. When I saw that you didn't reply, I turned around. It's okay. Zhao Yun forced a smile and replied. I'm going to make clothes for Daodu. Okay. Zhao Yun moved away and sat down on the chair to make clothes for Daodu. If she didn't find something to do, it would be very awkward to face Mu Lianfeng like this. Zhao Yun followed Auntie Lu's instructions and began to cut and mend the clothes. It was her first time doing something like this, and Zhao Yun had a poor foundation in needlework, so it was not easy. However, she had plenty of time, so she was not in a hurry. Hiss, the needle accidentally pierced her finger and Zhao Yun sucked in a breath of air in pain. Miss Yun, what's wrong? Mu Lianfeng looked at her with concern. I'm fine. I was just accidentally pricked by a needle, Zhao Yun said. Let me see. Mu Lianfeng groped his way out of bed and hopped over to Zhao Yun. He picked up Zhao Yun's hand and looked at it. Mu Lianfeng's actions were so sudden that Zhao Yun couldn't react in time. Her injured hand was in Mu Lianfeng's hand. Looking at Zhao Yun's bleeding finger, Mu Lianfeng put it into his mouth. Zhao Yun was in a daze for a while. When her finger entered Mu Lianfeng's mouth, the pain was not so severe. Instead, she felt very comfortable. However, for someone of Mu Lianfeng's status, to treat a country girl like her like this, wasn't it a bit strange? It was too good. Mu Lianfeng's actions were just subconscious and he didn't think too much about it. When he saw his aunt cut her finger when she broke something, his uncle also helped his aunt suck the blood. Miss Yun, it's done. Mu Lianfeng let go of Zhao Yun's hand and saw that the blood had stopped. When he looked up, Mu Lianfeng met Zhao Yun's surprised eyes. After the two of them looked at each other for a few seconds, the atmosphere seemed a bit ambiguous. Zhao Yun hurriedly moved her face away and turned her head away. Thank you. You're welcome. Miss Yun, be careful. Don't prick yourself again. Mu Lianfeng's eyes flashed with a trace of distress. He reminded Zhao Yun and lay back on the bed. Chapter 220. The atmosphere didn't improve until Daodu came back. The two children carried a wooden bucket in their hands, but there were fewer bullfrogs today. Zhao Yun didn't mind. If Lu Shan went to other places to buy bullfrogs in the future, he would definitely be able to get a lot. The ones caught by the children were only a small part of the total. Zhao Yun didn't ask, but Daodu explained, Mother, we caught fewer bullfrogs today. It's okay. Zhao Yun patted Daodu's head. Mother, everyone helped us catch bullfrogs today. Daodu's mother also didn't let him play with me. They all said that their families didn't allow it. Daodu's mood fell. Children like to be lively and like to play with other children. Previously, the children in the village all distanced themselves from Daodu. It wasn't easy for them to play with Daodu because of the bullfrogs. Now that things had changed, Daodu couldn't help but feel a little sad. Looking at Daodu's pitiful appearance, Zhao Yun comforted him. She guessed that it was probably because Dowdu fell into the mud pit. Qin Hailan didn't say anything when she came over. She was afraid that Dowdu would have an accident again, so she didn't let Dowdu play with Dowdu. She just didn't know if Dowdu said anything about the bullfrogs. As for the other children, Zhao Yuner guessed that Qin Hailan said something behind their backs, so the other children's parents didn't let their children interact with Dowdu. Sigh. Touching Dowdu's little face, Zhao Yuner felt a little distressed. No matter how good she was to Dowdu, Dowdu was still a child. He liked to play with other children. Okay, Dowdu, don't be sad. Even if they don't catch bullfrogs with you, there's still little uncle to accompany you, right? There are still Sanair and the others. Although there are fewer people, it's not to the extent that there won't be anyone left. Don't you agree? When Dowdu is a few years older, mother will send Dowdu to school. This way Dowdu can play with many little friends and also learn knowledge. Zhao Yuner said. Dowdu raised his head and looked at Zhao Yuner. Mother, what is a school? It's where I go to school. There will be many children around the same age as Dowdu. What are you going to school for? Going to school is to learn knowledge. Yes, just like your eldest uncle. In the future, after you study and pass the exam, you can become successful and bring your mother to live a good life. Yes, yes. Dowdu nodded heavily. Especially when he heard Zhao Yuner say that he could become successful and bring Zhao Yuner to live a good life. Dowdu was even more determined to study hard when he went to school in the future. At the mention of Dowdu going to school, Zhao Yuner looked at Zhao Tianfu. Zhao Tianfu was 8 years old and had reached the age of going to school. However, old Zhao's family clearly had no intention of letting Zhao Tianfu go to school. Zhao Tianan was 16 or 17 years old. It was obviously a bit late for him to go to school at this age. However, Zhao Tianfu could. However, in this era the cost of going to school was very expensive. The average family simply couldn't afford it. In addition, old Zhao's family still had Zhao Tianlong who was studying, so the annual expenses were not small. If Zhao Tianfu wanted to go to school, the children of the other branches of old Zhao's family would definitely clamor to go to school as well. The third branch wasn't liked in old Zhao's family to begin with. It seemed a bit difficult, but Zhao Yuner still wanted to fight for Zhao Tianfu. Chapter 221. She didn't ask for the money, but that didn't mean she would let it go. The original owner's life was like this, and old Zhao's family had to account for it. Tianfu, do you want to study? Zhao Yuner asked. Before talking about this, it was best to ask Zhao Tianfu for his thoughts. Zhao Tianfu had to be willing to study. Although Zhao Tianfu was young, he knew the benefits of studying. Studying could make him successful and he could lead his family to live a good life. They wouldn't be bullied, so he naturally wanted to study. Second sister, studying is too expensive. I miss Grandpa, but he won't let me study. Zhao Tianfu said. Zhao Yuner saw that Zhao Tianfu wanted to study, so it was easy. He knew that studying was hard, and when he went to school in the future, he wouldn't not study hard. It's okay. Leave this to me. Second sister will talk to father and grandpa. They will probably let you study then. Zhao Tianfu's eyes lit up and he looked forward to it. Second sister, is that true? Of course it's true. Then second sister, can brother Tianan still study? Zhao Tianfu looked up and asked. Your brother Tianan probably can't. He's almost at the age of marrying a wife. But when you learn more you can read. You can teach your brother Tianan how to read. Even if he wasn't very educated, he wouldn't be illiterate if he could read. Whether it was ancient or modern, it was much more convenient to read. People in ancient times were poor, so there weren't many who could study. That was why there were so many illiterates. Okay, second sister. I will teach brother Tianan everything I know in the future. Okay. Dinner was heated up and Zhao Yuner added a plate of vegetables. It wasn't bad. After dinner, Zhao Yuner sent Zhao Tianfu back. At the same time, they discussed the matter of Zhao Tianfu going to school. Old Zhao's family was eating dinner in the courtyard. Everyone gathered around a table. The table wasn't big, so basically only the adults were sitting. The children were standing at the side with bowls. Or they picked up their own food and sat on a stool at the side to eat. After Zhao Wensheng left, the food in old Zhao's house returned to being bland. The man who had been working hard all day was still able to eat. After all, no matter how disgusting it was, they still had to eat it. If they didn't eat it, they would be starving. Zhao Yuner is here again. Li Chuiying shouted as soon as he saw Zhao Yuner. Old Zhao's family members all looked at Zhao Yuner. Now, in order to prevent Zhao Yuner from coming back, old Zhao's family had sent Zhao Yuner away. As soon as Hu Chunhua heard that Zhao Yuner was here, her face immediately turned green. He thought to himself, how could this little b***tisk have the nerve to come here? Don't you have any shame? As soon as Zhao Yunar arrived at the yard, Hua Chunhua scolded her angrily, we've already separated you. What are you doing here? Hurry up and get out of here. Hua Chunhua's eyes revealed undisguised disgust. She couldn't wait for Zhao Yunar to disappear in front of her immediately. The corner of Zhao Yunar's mouth raised into a smile as she replied. Grandma, you can't say that. Although I've separated from my family, my parents haven't. They are also part of old Zhao's family, so they have a share of this house. I'm not here to look for you. I'm here to look for my parents. Can't I even see my parents? That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.